Welcome back, boys, to RMTS. I guess from your guys' feedback, you guys like the full episodes instead of short episodes. So, Vertless, we were wrong on the fan demographics, I guess. So, keep liking the full episodes. Woods, welcome back, buddy.
Hey,
A
man.
yearly occurrence.
Yeah,
Congratulations on everything going on right now with your music release and everything else.
appreciate that, man. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it was fucking wonderful getting that text the other morning that you were releasing shit, and it was nice checking that shit out.
I sent you a link, right, to Bandcamp?
Yeah. I got to figure out how to download shit off there, so that way I'm able to keep that
Hey,
song
just play
developed.
it. You got it download. Just play it. You can play it.
Yeah, until I don't have internet, you know,
Oh,
data sucks dick.
ah. Well,
But yeah, so we are sitting here recording while it seems like the world is questionably popping off for World War III. The entire United States is burning down because people don't know how to listen to rules, and we're just gonna be three dudes sitting here hanging out having fun.
well,
So
let's check a couple things. The entire United States is not burning down. Only a few cities are. That's the fucking media saying a narrative that's not fucking real. You have hot
never's
spots.
been real.
You have hot spots that were fucking built in. People were sent to these cities to, generate whatever, votes. But most of the country is doing great. Most of the countries, people living well. People, there are just, but we're just fixated on these little hot spots as if that's the definition of America. It's not even fucking close.
I agree.
I've driven across country enough to know that people live well. They want to be friendly. They want to be cooperative. And that's what gets, there's 85% of us who agree on everything, in some degree. And for some reason, the only people who get the fucking airtime are the people who are actually out there burning shit.
Inflammatory in some way.
They get all the attention. And our fucking politicians, I mean, again,
It's even more frustrating than that. So I live in a county that has like 50, 60,000 people. And now it's probably exaggerating a little bit. But like you'll see these protests in the main towns. And it's like, okay, I don't know a single person that's in this protest at all.
right.
And they're posting these on local Facebook pages and stuff like that. And you sit there and click through the comments of people supporting it or saying that they were there. And not a single one are from around here. Everybody's from the city. Everybody, and it's like,
Oh shit! Look at, I was in Massachusetts this summer during all this the Palestine stuff,
Yeah.
and drove by, and the people protesting were all these old white people from Vermont. They took a bus down to a small town in Massachusetts, which is super liberal, and just to wave signs. And then they got back on a bus and went home. I mean, they weren't even from, and who knows why they're protesting in a small town in Western Mass. It's like, it's insane.
It doesn't make any fucking sense.
My sister's crazy. She's one of these people. It's like it's impossible for them to understand anything. They just, if it's the orange man, it's bad. And that's all. It's a type of, we were just talking earlier. I think it's a type of it's mental illness now. I think it's at the point where it's a fucking mental illness. When you can't discern a relative juxtaposition of opinion from yourself, when you identify with your ideology, then you basically you're insane.
Yeah, and none of it genuinely makes one-to-one sense. Like, it doesn't matter if we have different politics. Like, genuinely, it shouldn't fucking matter. Like, I would rather it just go back in the days where we didn't fucking wear our fucking mental illness on our head or in our nose with a cow ring or whatever. We just didn't ask each other about our politics because, God damn it, I think it was a happier fucking place. I'd rather be ignorant to seeing other people walking around with what the fuck they believe in. Like, the only positive about it now is, like, I genuinely know if there's actually a problem and something pops off, who's 75% of the time a safe person to be around.
Yeah.
That's the only difference. Like, it sucks. It fucking sucks because you can't fucking trust anybody.
I think the leverage point happened when a foreign actor decided they were going to start paying people to sit there and complain. And Yeah, I think as you see a lot of protesters that you see now, they're professional. They get paid to do it. So that's their job. It's go out and cause trouble. And you do that long enough, you start believing in it.
Yep.
At this point, how many people are on the payroll? As we see, I was just saying, like, even if only half of the fraud that's been reported in Minneapolis is true, let's say half of it's not true. It's still
Yeah.
huge amount of fucking fraud. Let's say just because I take everything and cut it in half. Whatever I hear, I say, okay, I'm going to cut that in half. What's the other side say? What's this side say? And somewhere in the middle, even if it's half, it's a fucking huge problem. If it's 1/4 accurate, it's a massive freaking problem. You know?
Yeah. That also goes into the USAID stuff when, like, oh, all this is just going to NGOs. Where are these NGOs going? Where's all this money going? It just evaporates, and then 1,000 people show up to protest. It's like, wonder where that money came from.
And I think
the stupid fucking thing, and this was announced, I think, last week, a week after that video dropped from Minneapolis, the fucking absolute retard who runs New York State, Kathy Hochul's like, guys, we're going to start the same exact program that fucking Minnesota has for all of the daycares and everything else. I'm like, oh my fucking God. Is this like the PPP loans and everybody's going to forgive this after a while? Because I'm going to jump on now.
Yeah. Oh, good luck.
Start a daycare.
You might be the wrong demographic. Take advantage of it.
Yeah, you have a paper trail of this show.
And then I saw a video today where this dude walked up to the fucking daycare. This was the shoddiest day. I don't even believe that there's actual kids in these places. I genuinely don't. I know that there's probably proof that there isn't, but I genuinely don't think that there's kids in any of these places. This was a white metal building in the middle of like Minneapolis that looked like somebody shit on the side of it and rubbed it across the entire door and the corner of the building. And it was like spray painted with like street numbers.
You know,
and this lady answers the door and she's like, hello? He's like, yeah. So I need to sign up my kid for preschool and daycare services. She's like, okay, well, here's your paperwork. Bring this down to welfare. Tell them this is where you're sending your kid. He's like, ma'am, my kid won't like clear for welfare. Like, can I just pay you in cash? She's like, no, we don't accept cash. Let me call the owner real quick. Like, oh my fucking God. Like, what the fuck is this?
Here's the thing. Here's a thought exercise. Let's say, what if the people on the ground are not evil? They're not. Let's not call them bad. Let's just say they have a culture in which you have to hustle to survive. That you need to any hook, line, any measure you can take to survive, you do it. And all of a sudden, you drop them into a world where money is free flowing. You don't have to kill anybody. You don't have to starve. You don't have to prostitute yourself. You just have to ask for it. And let's say you get your ticket paid. You get an EBT card. You get a year's rent. If your indoctrination into a new culture is that you're being handed money and all you have to do is write something on a paper. You don't have to take the action. Just write it on a paper. Say, I'm doing this, and they hand you money. Can you blame anybody for doing that? It's not. It's because it's not. You can't fault them for bringing their culture into America. You can't fault them. They're not being asked to change or assimilate. They're here. Do what you do in Somalia. Do what you did in Palestine. Do what you did in your home country, and we'll pay you to do it here. Well, what is the impetus? What is the motivation to modify behavior when you're subsidized? So if we can stop seeing them as, I don't say victims, but they come by it honestly. They come by the fraud honestly. It's like, yeah, there's no requirements other than signing that. Go down here, sign that paper, show up here, and we'll give you money. I mean, people.
It fucking sucks. The shitty.
Like, come on, think about it. The world is full of hunters, gatherers, and scavengers, right? And most people have to be scavengers because unless you're trained to hunt or to farm, or you're trained on how to procure and provide for yourself. You got to be trained. Even in America, we don't train our young men to do this anymore. We train them to have attitudes. And even the NFL, they're all dancing, they're all long hair, they're all, bling, and it's very feminized. And, it's a very feminine sport now in terms of all that stuff. I mean, it's done by men, but it's all very maternal. It's all the dancing and the long hair. It's all, it's all emotionally based now. That's why you see like the loss of like an Aaron Rodgers, and that's why you see like when Philip Rivers comes back in, and he's just this man among boys, right? Hasn't played football in 5 years, and he's as effective as he's like one of the top 12, 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, and he hasn't played because it's a different mindset, And again, the thought exercise is: what if they're not evil? What if we don't see them? What if it's just they had not been asked to do more? It's been, you see, and now they're in now the guys NFL, they're getting paid to go jump from school to school. There's a lot of, I'm going across a lot of boundaries here, but a lot of avenues. But if we're not asking people to modify, and if we're not creating incentive, if we're not creating consequence for not, then why would you change?
Well, we also took away the consequence, and that's the part that I was gonna say is like, when I was 17 years old, I was emancipated because we had my oldest, and we were on welfare and everything else. That's why we were emancipated and everything, because we had fucking nothing. We were starting from zero. Hey, get them housing, get them taken care of. My fucking family was poor as shit, so we were already on welfare. That mindset sticks. But the crazy thing is we moved. They put us up in a hotel for, I think it was like a week, until we had our court date where we were emancipated and stuff. We're like, hey, we'll make sure that you guys are taken care of then. And then we moved in with her family. They tried to file charges on us because they said we didn't file the paperwork in order to change locations.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they were given all of the paperwork. They were given all of the information and everything else. Meanwhile, we have people taking millions of dollars in fraud. And it's just like, I get it, but at the same time, it's like,
rephrase that. They're being given that money
with no ramifications, no rules, no boundaries.
Let's take the onus off of them. They don't know any better. They are given this money. It's not the people taking it; it's the people who are making it available to them. That's the problem. And they got all of us looking in the wrong direction. We're all looking at these. Like, let's talk about Somalis. They don't know better. They come from this culture of poverty, of war. The people that here's some money, just sign this paper. You can't hold them accountable for that. They have no frame of reference. It's the people who are giving them the money without following through on it. That's the issue for me.
Yeah.
People who take the money, they come by honestly,
Yeah, shit rolls downhill. Like, they're making us look at the people that look like shit. Okay, they totally do look like shit, but I completely understand why the thing is happening. Like, if anybody doesn't understand why the thing is happening, then they've never been poor in their entire life.
Right.
Because sometimes it's their only answer out. It's their answer to be okay from coming from Somalia. Somalia is a shithole, just like Detroit, just like fucking Missouri. You know what I'm saying? You put any fucking city in there, and it's like, okay, well, that makes sense. It's the same kind of ghetto culture that you have from NFL stars, from rappers.
Someone doesn't, it's you hate to have the old adage, but if you don't earn something, you don't respect it. If it was handed to you, you're not going to know the value of it until it goes away. Because it's always been here. Now, if you're a rich kid, it's called entitlement. But if you grow up and you've always been given food, you've always been given shelter, and you're in your 20s and your 30s and you're still receiving that, you're expecting someone else to take care of you because you haven't been asked or taught how to go off on your own. In fact, you've been trained to think that
to accept
it's somebody else's fault that you're this way. And that is the devastating fact. And when you import 100,000 people of the same culture and you drop them in a small town in America and you wipe out the existing culture, which is happening all over the place, that's a problem.
Yeah. Well, actually, I want to ask a question, and I don't know if you had this or not, and if you take it offensively, I apologize. Were you ever given like a sign-on bonus for any of your contracts in the NHL and stuff like that, where it was like, okay,
That's a fact. I never did that.
oh, I thought
played
you did.
hockey. I wasn't an NHL. I was I played a couple games in the American League. I played overseas. I played in Europe. I played a couple games in the East Coast League. But I wasn't. Don't say that. I never said
No,
that. Yeah.
that's me misspeaking. I thought from the way Taylor was talking to you that you did play that at that level. That's why I asked.
I played a high level. When I was at my peak, I would skate the summers with the Islanders because I looked like I belonged. I just wasn't good enough, but I could skate. I had all the skills. I didn't have the brain. I didn't have the head.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you said something that like sticks out to me. When you don't earn something, it doesn't feel like it's yours. Like you just feel disconnected from it, regardless of how much like you put into it beforehand or whatever. Like it feels different. And I think you hit your mic, buddy. You
Me?
got like a buzz going on. Yep.
Hang on.
Yes.
Is it gone?
No, it's still there. So like when I got my neck injury money, that to me didn't feel like it was mine. Like I've been absolutely shit broke my entire fucking life.
Yeah.
Getting a check for $100,000 doesn't feel fucking real. Like I remember taking pictures of the check stub because the check stub just to me didn't seem real.
Right.
Like I remember when I was like 10, 11 years old, my mom opening my stepdad's wallet and there being like $5,000 from tax refunds in there, and that was like mind blowing.
Right.
So like getting a check for like $85,000, knowing I just paid my lawyer like $15K, it's like, dude, that's fucking mind blowing.
Yeah.
And then to know like what ended up happening with it, my ex stealing every single fucking dime of it. It's just like, okay, well, I didn't feel like it was mine. Like I didn't feel like I deserved it.
And that really is. Again, that I guess that's the source of all things. Like, how do you create a sense of ownership? How do you create a sense of you're worth it? I mean, this is a battle I've had my entire life, right? Now, I've been fairly successful by any measure, but at the same time, I have a constant struggle with self-esteem, self-value. How do I don't think I'm nearly where I should have been as in my career. I mean, I've done well, don't get me wrong, but you're always looking to the next thing. And it's the constant daily battle is how do I build a sense of true self-worth? And it's not necessarily measured by money, but what is it measured? What are the metrics of self-worth? And, there's some very standard ways of doing that. And that is, build skill, become competent, become good at something so somebody else wants to buy it from you. And that's a very powerful form of self-esteem, to have a skill or to have a knowledge that somebody wants to buy from you because you're so good at it. That's an important external form of self-esteem. But at the same time, there's got to be what I call the overall human value of yourself, and what valuing yourself. And this is not ego thinking I'm better or worse, because ego goes both directions. Either, oh, I'm so small, look at me, pay attention, or look at me, I'm big, pay attention. Either way, it's your ego fucking with you, right? So what is a clean ego state where you're at peace? And it's a spiritual thing for me, where you're at peace and you're able to look at the next step. So you know what, whatever happens next, I have faith that it's going to be the right thing. No matter if it seems dark or if it's scary, if I got to make a change in my life, and I'm moving towards that with grace and in pace, then it's a leap of faith. And that's really where the I think spirituality is the way. And I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about understanding that there's something else happening, and having learning to trust that, and learning to hear the intuition and trusting your instincts. Those are the ones that build true self-esteem. The external stuff is really important, but without the internal stuff, that external stuff becomes very, very debilitating. Because the more money you get, if you don't match your spiritual growth with your financial growth, then there's going to be, as we see, how many people die, you know, how many wealthy people are dead, how many you know, very successful people are miserable. Well, that's it. So we all say, oh God, look at this guy, he's so rich, he's got a great life. Well, yeah, dig deeper. And so my rant is about how do we create, you know, how does one create value for themselves? How do we define ourselves, and how do we own that? And how do we allow good things to happen? You know, and once we know that we can allow it and good things happen, and we feel like, okay, am I telling the truth? Am I being honest? That's number one. If I have to lie about something, I better check in. If I have to, you know, oh, hey, oh, I remember once I was trying to I was working production in this film, and you get this you get this cash, right? Petty cash. And I was like, I had $60 in petty cash, and I go, oh, I gotta find a justified way so I can keep this. And I was this kind of, how do I ask, going through all these machinations of how I'm going to fudge a receipt or how I'm going to do. I go, no, why not just fucking just turn it back in? It's not your money. Turn it back in. And the fucking relief I had by not having to find a way to, you know, to finagle $60 out of something that wasn't mine. You know, the minute I let go of that thing, I got to take it. Oh, I can get this money. The minute I let go of that, I was free. I could breathe again. And I always kept that lesson close to my heart. Like, wow, if I have to juggle something, if I have to manipulate something to get what I want, it's probably not the right thing. Because when I'm aligned, shit shows up, man. I don't have to do much. I just got to keep my integrity and keep my, you know, try to keep focus and keep negative thoughts at a minimum, and it'll show up. But if I find myself having to cheat or lie, you know, actors are great for this. Oh, of course I know how to play hockey. Yeah, until you get on the ice, you can't fucking skate. Oh, I know how to shoot a gun, until you put a gun in their hand and they will shoot themselves. You know, actors are, especially at a certain level, are notorious for lying about their skill set. Except for Tom Cruise, he does it all. But other than that, you know, it really is. It's very evident in this world that I live in. You know,
that's really big, because like with my channel, I've never lied in my professional career for YouTube. Yeah, I've blamed stealing a cookie from the jar on my brother in the past. You know, we've all done little things like that. But when it comes to like anything that has that internet weight, or when I'm representing myself, I've been truthful 100% of the time. Now, idiots on the internet are going to be like, "Oh, but you lied here, or you were dishonest here," and try to pick that apart. But because I know I've always done what I feel is right, I've always kept that integrity. Like, they don't bother me, and I've been able to stay straight.
I'm going to challenge you, because even lying about the cookie affects your credibility.
Oh yeah,
because you now look at, I have lied. I have.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, that's my honesty of it. You can't. No one in the world can say they've never lied.
Well, you can. Yeah, that's my point. Yes, but the thing is, once you know you're standing on solid ground, you're telling that you're being honest with yourself, you're being honest with the world. No matter what somebody says about you, it doesn't matter, because it's you. Like, it's like someone said, look at Burns, you're not wearing a black jacket. Well, I know I am, so rock on. And that's the power of knowing. Like, if I know I am presenting the most authentic version of myself to you, I don't care what you say. No?
Yep.
This is what I know.
And
I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing.
that is the weirdest thing to kind of come to terms with and figure out, actually. You, as a kid, you, like, I don't know if this was just me, but like, you look through everything like a mask, and you try and figure out how you need to explain it to other people, and you need to explain your mind and your thought process and everything else. And at some point, you fully fucking realize that none of it fucking matters. It's not whether or not you can explain it to everybody else and get them to fully grasp what the fuck you're doing, what the fuck you're saying, or where you're coming from. It's just, as long as you're comfortable within, you know, this is what I saw, this is what's going on. I know I'm being honest. I know I'm being genuine in this situation, and it's okay. It's really funny. You brought up like trying to figure out where like your credibility, where your self-confidence and everything needs to come from. I was having this same exact conversation with my therapist this morning. So this entire day is just going full circle for me for some fucking reason. But I had this same exact conversation, and I told him, I was like, you know, I've accomplished things even at my small level that 99% of people wouldn't even like comprehend how to do, because most people do not fucking do anything. They just consume, consume, consume. It's just weird looking at it that way percentage wise, but that's how it works. But as a whole, it's like I have to keep myself motivated enough every single day to keep going, or I'm going to fucking stagnate at some point, shoot myself in the foot, and end up not giving a fuck because, I don't have anything else to reach for.
In the writings of the Buddha, I'm going to butcher this, but there's a passage that says the master does not need words. No, the master does not need to speak. No, it's like the enlightened one does not need to speak, but words do not hinder the master. So what that means to me is that in explaining something to somebody else, it's me clarifying to myself what I know. If I can explain something, if someone understands it, I probably have a very good understanding of what it is. So explanation in I think in the highest form is a way of communicating it in a very absorbable and simple way. And I hear you struggle, Zach, but I want to throw something out there because I'm a little farther down the road than you are. It's like the journey to self recovery, I'll call it recovery. There's got to be a shift at some point where it no longer is a battle, it's a hunger. It is no longer a striving, it is momentum. And achieving that momentum is the first thing is we must return to zero, or in the Buddhist say, we must return to the uncarved block, which means the block of wood that's been untouched. Because each day I wake up, we have an uncarved block of wood, and we start, I'm angry. You take a chip out of it. Oh, I got to get to work, or I got to finish this song, and you start chipping away at this block of wood, trying to carve your identity out of it. And each time you do that, it can be beautiful and productive. But if we don't return to the uncarved state, to the state of like, all right, that's my zero state. Getting back to zero, getting over all of the dysfunctions and all the angers and all the patterns. And I quit my therapist for that reason, because I found that me constantly talking about my fucking problems and my shit and my issues kept them alive. Look I know that every time I was doing good, I'm doing great. Next thing you know, I start talking about I'm fucking miserable again. For what? Because I talked to my therapist for an hour and gave her $300, and next thing you know, I'm miserable for a week. And at some point, it's like, you know what? I just I have to trust that if I just choose to bless an idea or a feeling or a thought, and just remind myself that a thought and a feeling are merely cloud. I'm a blue sky, and every thought and every feeling is merely a blue sky passing before me. And if I sit long enough, it will pass. And that's reality for me. And that's the place that's the momentum I fight to maintain. Because if I get caught up and there's some great clouds I'll jump on. There's some great ones. I want this. And there's some great emotions that, this feels good. I want more of that. And once I do that, it's good to take a little ride. But remember, if you don't get back to zero, you don't get back to the uncarved black, you don't get back to the blue sky, then that cloud or that thought is going to whisk me away down a road where that thought becomes my momentum. Now, next thing you know, I'm not so sure that's a complete version of myself,
And I completely agree with you. The amount that me and my therapist have talked about any of my trauma, any of my abuse that I've suffered or anything like that is so fucking small that it probably wouldn't even be recognized if you looked at all of the data. Like it is more breaking down kind of like analytically to somebody who's semi-competent compared to like 90% of people, that this is where I'm going and I want to be clear-headed when I go there.
Right.
And like when you get to some point, it's kind of hard to find anybody like that has the time and availability to sit there and just debrief with you once a week, because that's fucking impossible in some cases. So like that to me was the biggest, like once I started doing that, my suicidal ideation disappeared. My anger towards everything disappeared.
Mhm.
My inability to feel like I deserve what I have disappeared. It's learning that, hey, everything doesn't have to be done because of anger, and everything doesn't have to be, oh my god, fuck everything, I don't deserve this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think therapy is an interesting tool as long as like you see it as something that you use to get better instead of like a crutch. I think people get
Yep.
stuck with like had a therapist for 20 years not getting better because they're living in that misery and they're making themselves upset or they're trying to like find things to get upset about to bring to their therapist instead of just like adjust.
And I also think that we live in an instant fix environment. Like, let's go on any YouTube, Instagram channel, and you see like, oh, take this drug and you'll lose 40 pounds. Ozempic is an example. It's a drug not designed for weight loss, but people, because it's you don't have to do anything. You don't have to exercise. Just take a drug, and all of a sudden you can lose some weight. So people want freebies, and most folks, and I'm guilty of this. You go to a therapist because you want the therapist to fix you. Somehow they're going to say some magical fucking word or give me permission to think something or permission to feel something. And that's when, again, that's when I had to really take a long, dark look at why I spent a lot of money to do something I could do on my own. Just get my book out, write a list of things I hate, things I love, things I'm grateful for. And that every day just cleans my head. Like, I fucking hate this. And then you look at it. No, I don't hate this. And that's just my momentum being exercised through my pencil in my journal book every day. But I really think, it's so easy to want to have it lifted by another person. And I'll go off the deep end here. That's a job for your spirituality. You ask for that to be lifted. You can't do that. It's too complicated. But if you surrender to it and say, look, I see this, I feel this, and just own what I feel. Yes, I hate this person. Okay, that's not a desirable place to be, but I'm going to acknowledge that I do, and I'm going to pay attention to it. And funny how when I acknowledge all the horrible shit I think and all the horrible shit I feel, that once I acknowledge it, and give it space and kind of write it on paper that I know I'm going to destroy. No one's ever going to see the shit I say about people, right? All of a sudden, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't need to carry that because I said it. I gave myself permission to be this horrible fucking human being for 3 seconds, and then guess what? I'm not, because that goes away. And that really is the trick for me. Just give myself permission to be whatever the fuck I got to be on my own time. And then I go in the world, I'm free.
Your microphone's doing some weird stuff again.
My microphone?
There's like a rumbling, bumping sound.
Sorry, guys.
All right.
We're back.
So that was his hard drive, apparently. It was backing up and go brrr. So there you go, guys.
It's. I saw the lights flashing every hour. Man.
We could hear that. It was weird. But yeah.
It was probably the disk on the inside.
But it's also sitting on it. It's sitting right on top of the hard drive. So it's good to know.
What you're saying becomes so salient when you're actually willing to do this. And I think this is actually the answer to the first philosophical question you brought up. It's like, how the fuck do I figure this out? How the fuck do I feel good about myself? It's like, take everything that you've done wrong, everything that you feel is wrong about you, everything that you feel is right about you, everything that you feel. It's all right. It doesn't fucking matter. Now, what are you doing from now? You could be absolutely wrong. You could be absolutely right. It doesn't fucking matter. Now sit down, look at yourself, and how the fuck do you do better today? Most people can't get through that first step because they can't accept it.
The thing is, but you built in the resistance in your statement. You built it in, and that's where the problem lies. And it's like, I don't want to do better. I just want to be here. I acknowledge I have all these things. I acknowledge I have a full. So I just want to be an uncarved block. I don't want to, if I'm doing better, that means I'm doing bad. Okay, I got to do better means I'm doing bad. And that's a horrible, as an athlete, it's a horrible place to be. As a musician,
absolutely.
I got to be better. Now all of a sudden, my premise is I'm not good enough. To think I got to do better is a premise that I'm not good enough. And this is a very sticky thing here. It's like, yes, I want to be at peace. I want to be in harmony. I want to be open and I want to be vulnerable. But yes, I want to be able to be all these things. So I want to be open to that. if I walk in trying to be bigger, better, faster, stronger, I'll never be enough, and I'll never find what I truly need to find. And that's the real tag for me is that. And again, I come by this the same way you did. I want to be better. I got to be a better. Yeah. So my premise is that I'm not good enough. The premise is that I've got to whatever I am, it's not enough. And that's what we're talking about in general. The way we talk to ourselves, right? What do you deserve? Well, I deserve more. Well, that tells me I deserve less. The idea is like, fuck, I'm grateful. I've got this place. Finding my gratitude in every fucking moment. That's all we got.
Oh yeah. No,
Just be
gratitude is.
and once you're grateful, your mind kicks in and makes it really easy, and things just happen for you because you're grateful for it. But if I'm sitting there squeezing and pushing and scarcity, I'm low. I think that's what I get back is scarcity. I spent an entire acting career doing that shit. I fought so hard for acting, and the job that I love just fucking showed up for me. I didn't have to work at it, but I just grind and grinded emotionally. I gotta wish it, and like it made me miserable. Fucking made me
No,
miserable.
absolutely. I think the only difference in between how you see the world in that sense and how I do, and I think Verlis does too, is I have the gamer mindset where it's like, there is no max cap on how much fucking experience I can get in intelligence or strength or speed or whatever. It just takes time and effort and energy to get there. So I need to do better, not just because I'm bad, but because even if I'm 90 out of 100, guess what? I still can do better.
Yeah, and I'm going to offer you, and I get that. And believe me, I spent my entire fucking life, and what I find is that the minute I stop, and I had this buddy of mine who ran this men's work I did in the 90s, and he kept saying, look, man, you got to stop striving. You got to stop. And I didn't understand it until now. And I'm like, he's 10 years older than I am right now, but he was in his 70s when he said it. And he said, Teresa, look at what you're doing. I said, I love it. It's great. It's noble, but it's not there. You can't get there using that technique. The only way you get there is by opening up and letting it happen, by becoming, in sync with it. And this, I love the goal oriented. That's very much athletic. Is very much, but it's going to be your undoing because here's what he did. I'm going to do this with you. Zach, take your hand, make a fist, squeeze it tighter, harder. Come on, work. You do better. Come on, you can get better than that. Come on, tighter, harder. Come on. What happens?
My hand hurts
because I have nerve damage in my arm.
Okay, exactly. Now here's something. Open your hand up, sit down, take a breath. Put your attention on wiggle your toes. Put your attention on your toes for a second. Put your attention on your forehead. Take a breath. Hold it and let it out real slow. Take another one. Now, which can you do more of? Doing this or just being present in your body? And
that shit's OP.
I promise you, if you can keep that state where you can see it in your face when everything dropped and you went inside. Mm-hmm. If you can play games from that, you'd be untouchable. If you could play music from that, you'd be untouchable because you are now no longer trying to do it. You are allowing all your whole everything you're not blocking it with this one idea. I got to do this, and believe me, brother, I've had this all my fucking life. And just letting it happen, it's a lesson that if I could have been given it 20 years ago, it would have been a great gift, but no one can give it to me. And all I can say to you is like, just remember, you can squeeze your fist and think you're getting somewhere, and you may get a really hard fist out of that, but if you can just open up and see what comes, see how it comes.
That's all what she said.
All things happen, and it happened perfectly. It happens perfectly.
And as I've grown in the past 5, starting 6 years now, That's what life showed me. Is like just allow it to happen. The things that you need to do will fucking pop up in front of you. You
Yeah,
just need to act on them.
sure.
And it's just like it comes. Just let it happen.
Yeah.
Things will happen. Like not very many dudes are like, dude, at fucking 26, I need neck surgery. And guess what? Life is done now. That's a hard fucking shot to take. And guess what? I'm still here. Don't know how, but we're still going. Like it just it changes. It changes everything if you just kind of listen to it and let life react because life actually does react in different ways than you expect it to.
Yeah. And going back to like the therapy thing, a big thing for me is like I took a couple of sessions just to kind of see maybe what I needed to work on because I was watching Joe Rogan and one of his guests was talking about how rumination is a bad thing. I was like, wait, I do that all the time because I thought that like that was good. Where if you're living in the past, you know make the mistakes of the future. And then I was like, that's really bad. So I was like, okay, let me at least get a therapist to figure that out. And then I did, and I got some really good advice from that as well. Like one thing you were talking about, which is something I picked up from therapy, is to don't discount the positives. Like,
Mm.
Mhm.
yeah, you just like keep track of that. It's like, yo, no matter how pissed off you are or what's wrong, it's like, wait, stop, go back and like see what positives are going on even right now in these bad times. And then also just kind of like learning proper mindfulness techniques because you kind of need a therapist to explain it a little better. Like you look it up, mindfulness is the act of being mindful. What the fuck does that mean? But then you like realize like, oh, if you just take that breath, you feel yourself a little bit more and you pay attention to the world around you, then you can use that just kind of break down and let things in.
Yeah, well, that's more of a coach than a therapist. Sounds like because
Yeah.
the therapy is like the therapy has descended into this other realm. Like a therapal behaviorist, somebody will okay here will teach you the difference between an emotion and a feeling. A lot of people can't figure out emotions or feelings. Am I angry? Or am I just hungry? Am I anxious or am I just tired? Am I depressed or am I just fucking exhausted? And that differentiation, no one's taught that. We don't get that shit in high school. Our parents don't have the time to help us differentiate between a physical feeling and an emotion as they
Well,
as we start to mature. And so we're not given a language how to understand ourselves. You know,
think about it this way. How many people that think that they're depressed right now, where the fuck are they as they're watching this show, listening to this stupid person fucking explain this? They're fucking laying in their bed in a dark room with their headphones in and not exploring anything that they could do in order to fix themselves. They just say, hey, I'm depressed. It'll feel better at some point. Or if they're burnt out, they're like, oh my God, I'm just going to lay in bed and, becoming okay will come to me. It's like the only way to change either of those things is actually continuing to do the things that you need to do mandatorily and calm yourself down, fix yourself, and change what the fuck you need to do if you need to change it and fucking keep going. And the fact that people go to therapists to say that it's okay to feel those things and fix those things is mind blowing to me.
I have a friend. I'm not going to mention his name. He's this stoicism, and I love the guy, and I agree with everything he says except his fundamental premise. And I hear this a lot with all the top end guys who are like trainers and motivators. A lot of them are military, and a lot of these guys. And I always got to remind myself back when I was a coach. I had to remind myself of this. You don't. Most people are not. They don't have the tools to evaluate themselves. They've never been asked or shown the value of self-restraint. They don't know what effort is. The average person thinks effort is like discipline is bad. Discipline is being punished. When you say discipline, it's like, we're going to discipline him. We're going to punish you. So when you try to explain discipline to somebody who believes discipline is punishment, how are they going to perform and resist something? Oh, this is called discipline. Well, they've been trained to think discipline is punishment. So if your body's under stress, you believe you're being punished. Well, how can you persevere through anything if you believe you're being punished? And they're saying, oh, this is good for you, but your body's reacting as if you're under punishment. So when you have some of these, like these Navy SEALs who are trainers, and I think they're amazing, but they forget that they came in at such a high level. The average kid now, like you say, like I really don't want to disparage the kid who's sitting there in his dark bedroom with the headphones on and start shaming him for that. He's there because that's what he was trained to do. He's there because somebody put him there. He's not there because he wants to be. He's there because he's got no choice. So our job is to invite them out and give them tools just to observe themselves, not to shame them, not to punish them further, because they've been trained to punish themselves by their families, by their doctors, by the drugs they're given, by their schools. And if you're a white kid, holy shit, you're a young man, 16 and under, who's white, you're fucked because you've been told you are the worst thing since Hitler. In fact, you are Hitler. And this group has got to be given. Again, we got to bring them back to zero. We got to show them a path back to becoming zero. Not even trying to get some. Just stop hating yourself. Give yourself. Kind of find grace in yourself where you are, wherever you are. It's okay. You can build from there. Start from where you are. Don't worry about. You don't have to run 136 miles in bare feet. That's not going to happen for you. Not now. Where are you? Okay, I'm here. Do I like it here? No, okay. Can I change this? And start gentle conversations with yourself. And I mean, it's unfortunate, but that's all these kids who are depressed and on drugs. They've been beaten into submission by and
they're told to accept it. Like,
but they're not given tools to get out of it. Come on, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. What if I ain't got no fucking boots, man? How can I?
No, like the diagnosis of depression, they're told that it's like lifelong. They're told that you can't change it, you can't affect it.
Oh, it's hopeless. Yeah.
You want to know the way out of suicidal ideation? It's the end of Minecraft. No, motherfucker, it's not. You can fucking get past it. You just fucking do it.
Right.
Like it's effort and energy in to get effort and energy out.
You've been giving it cool names. I got a friend whose kid was like, she's had, they're having suicidal ideation, and it was like a word, like a fucking badge of honor. I have ideations of suicide.
Mm-hmm.
Shut the fuck up. You're just taking attention. Just come on. Let's take a walk. Let's put some energy into it. Let's change some things, because it's like it's now become such a badge of honor to question your identity, to question who you are, and not in a healthy way. Like question your biology. That's a very small percentage that is born in the wrong body. Most of it is built on you've been trained and programmed to hate yourself. And here's the best way to hate yourself: hate your body. Everybody hates their body growing up. I fucking hated my body growing up. It's uncomfortable, and it's just we've got to find a way to invite these people who are living, I call, under the level of life, and invite them to come back up, not punish them for being there, because it doesn't help. Like when a mule is lame and can't pull, but you can beat the fuck out of it, inspire it. If a horse has a broken leg and it can't pull a cart or can't run a race, what are you gonna kick the horse? Come on, if you really wanted it. No, they don't have the tools, they don't have the material to make a change like that.
Even in higher levels, we saw this with the Yankees this year. Their shortstop absolutely shit the fucking bed all fucking year. I think he had like a 200 batting average. Couldn't fucking do anything right. Dude has an injury in his shoulder and in his elbow, and they're like, oh my God, this could have been the entire issue. Meanwhile, everybody was booing him. Meanwhile, 2 years ago, he won a Gold Glove and was one of the people that were in the Rookie of the Year and everything else. It's like, you guys just need to look at the perspective of what this actually is. Like, even if your career is a 1 year thing where it fucking explodes and then crashes the year after, dude, you fucking wrote it out that hard. You might as well just figure it out.
Well, I think there is a differentiation. When you've reached that level, it doesn't go away. Either you've learned to manage the doubt and the bad voices, you manage to shut it out, or you've numbed yourself to it. There's a couple of tenets that there's rules that to live by that I have. One is self-definition. We can't ever use other people's words, thoughts, or actions to define ourselves. That has nothing to do with what someone else says, thinks, or does. Has nothing to do with us. We can take it on. We can assume it does, but it's not. That's their journey. And if we choose to put ourselves in the line of their fire, that's on us. If I take on, someone says something to me and it, well, I'm offended. No, I'm not. Listen, that's an opinion. And I have to learn to say, well, your opinion is not that important to me. My opinion is what matters to me. Your opinion. Now, criticism, you got to differentiate between useful criticism and someone who's just projecting their own shit onto you. And that's number one. Always don't ever use other people's words, thoughts, and actions in your personal definition of who you are, in valuing yourself. You can't do that. You can't, because that makes you a slave to the world. I mean, that's like, think of things now. There's certain words that if you say that, there's communities that set places on fire because you said a word that it's like, well, that's our sacred word. You can't say that. And they'll tear down a fucking building because of that. That's how powerful, that's how weak they become. That a word will destroy their whole day. They'll destroy a town because of certain words being said. There's a lot of words out there. There's tons of words that do this for people. It incites them to riot. They go crazy. And you know how fragile you got to be to have somebody saying a word destroy your day or just kind of make you want to destroy something? And that is just same thing with actions,
One thing I've believed in for a while is that people can curse themselves really easily with words. That, like, if you just say something and you believe it, you're just stuck into that.
Absolutely.
And that goes to something I've been seeing for a really long time. Like, words have weight. So if you put in your bio, depressed, you are now just cursing yourself with that.
Well, here's the thing. But think of again, we don't study how to write or how to create literature anymore. No, I am not depressed. I'm feeling depressed. Like, I'm not happy. I'm feeling happiness. I'm happy. Mm-hmm. We identify our identity with an emotion.
Yeah, and then confirmation bias gets pretty crazy because it's like, but this says like, brain chemicals can't be cured. I'm just depressed forever now. It's like, but how'd you slip into that? Because there was a time where you weren't.
But that's the thing. When we make these declarations, I am this. Well, now you're limited. Because I thought you said you were depressed. Well, I am. Now you got to justify it when you change. I was in recovery for many years, still am. The hardest part of recovery is your family and the people around you not letting you evolve. They need you to stay where you were because now you're making things uncomfortable. If you change, and Bradshaw has a great thing about the family mobile. Like everybody's spinning in the family in this relationship, this dysfunctional relationship. And if you stop spinning, they keep spinning, but you're the problem because now you're not spinning with them. And that's the biggest obstacle to recovery is like having people get the fuck out of you. Stop demanding you act like you used to act. I go back to my hometown, and there are people there who still treat me like who I was when I was 17 years old. Yep. And I'm like, I can't even talk to you like that. They'll say things like, I go, that, how does that? No, that doesn't make any sense. But because the last time they saw me, I was 17. That's all they have to go on. They haven't kept track of my life and my career. They just knew me as Jimmy Burns at 17, who was kind of a knucklehead, right? So, that.
I had that same kind of conversation with a family member who struggled with a whole bunch of recovery shit. And I came to this point and I told her this. I was like, honestly, it doesn't make sense why they just run around and say, hey, I'm an addict always. That's what I am. Because you're putting yourself in a box and you're never able to leave it. You're never able to get out of your own shadow because guess what? You've already fucked up your shadow. I can't change what I am. Everything that I've ever done and everything that I ever will do should be forgiven because I have this title. And I'm like, if you continually accept that as your answer, guess what? You're never going to grow past.
Yeah. Well, again, it's kind of in the same vein we're talking about. accountability and making amends, that's a decision you make for yourself. And you can't really hold other people accountable. Now, in the legal sense, yes, if someone steals something, there's going to be consequences. That's accountability. But unless in your personal relationships, the only person you got to be accountable is to yourself. It's like make sure that am I telling a lie to this person? Because most of the problems happen in a relationship because you're not being accountable to yourself. You're not setting a boundary. Hey, I need to do this. I need to do this for myself, and I'm going to take this time here. Because if I don't do it, then my resentment grows up So personal accountability, personal responsibility becomes the ointment that allows us to have many more things. But it's not about letting yourself off the hook. Yeah, if you fucking steal something, be accountable to it. Hey, or if you're thinking about, maybe not steal that today. Do I really want to steal that? And what am I telling the universe if I say, I'm going to steal this pencil from work? They'll never know. I did all, there's some sugar at Starbucks. I'm going to steal that brown sugar because I don't have any at the house. I can't go buy a box of sugar for $3. But I'll steal it from Starbucks because, I'll justify that shit, right?
Until you said the $3, like, yo, that sugar's good though. It's different.
You can buy a box for $3, man.
Yeah, you're right.
You don't have to steal anything. You won't have to carry that. Because when you take it, either way you take it, either you're sneaking it or you're doing it belligerently. Either way, it's like, you know what, man. Or one of my self-deceptions was, I'll just take a little extra in case I want it. I don't drink sugar in my coffee. I have like a little teaspoon, but I'll take extra. So, it's a very...
I always grabbed a bag of my coffee. It didn't go in the coffee, but I was saving it for a rainy day.
Yeah, exactly. So again, it's a small thing, but it's also where integrity meets the road, because no one's going to know but you. And who are you lying to then, right? Or if you had a chance to steal some money from somebody, they don't like you leaving a store and someone gave you overpaid you by $100 bill or something. Do you run away with the bill and say, hey, wait, you overpaid me? Because it'd be easy to say, well, they gave me the bill and that's not my problem. But it's like, nah, that's someone's gonna suffer the consequences of you taking that $100 bill, and it's just like, just give it back, here. And then it's just when you do that kind of stuff, something better always happens. Something comes into your life, but it's having these moments of personal integrity, of accountability that change your life. And I say that's where you start. It's all recovery starts there. Can I be accountable for this thought right now? Can I be accountable for this emotion right now?
And the craziest part about this entire conversation is everybody will be like, oh, well, this is for alcohol, this is for drugs, and that's it. No, people that are victims of abuse, victims of people that have done drugs or alcohol and everything else, those same exact principles that you heal with people that are in recovery, like Burns, or people that aren't and are victims of those people, they heal the same exact fucking way, and they just don't want to realize it, because if you keep staying in the same cycle of, I was abused, therefore this is acceptable, you are never able to go past that fucking point that you were able to get to with that person. You're still 8 years old. You're still 10 years old. You're still 12 years old. You're still 25 years old. Yeah. It doesn't change until you accept change in your life and accept change in the accountability that you hold yourself to.
And for clarity, like, alcohol is not my thing. Alcohol and drugs have never been my thing. I'm an adult child of an alcoholic. Mine is more codependency. Mine's always been about. So the drugs and alcohol, it's not an issue for me. I don't have to drink. When I drink, I can stop. I don't have the flags. I'm a codependent. I have issues with relationships,
your person
with people. So that's also just, there's Al-Anon and there's ACO, Adult Children of Alcoholics. And there's actually people who have issues like using sex as a drug that happens. So all these programs are the same thing, though. They all have the same 12 steps and the same concepts. Plus, I spent a lot of time in the world of Buddhism and in sort of like natural, indigenous ways, Celtic, not necessarily American Indian. But the point is that, yeah, recovery, just anytime you start getting, the way I read it is this: we are programmed from birth by our family, by the religion we're surrounded by, the education system, by the town we're in, by the friend group we have. All these things give us pieces of identity, but it may not be the right identity for us. It's something that we have dropped onto us, and then the expectation. Like my father had an expectation that I'd be in a lot of fist fights. That was his way of being in the world, being violent. So he expected me to be there. When I wasn't that way, we had a lot of conflict because I wasn't particularly interested in being in a fist fight every day. I didn't enjoy it. He did. So, or at least that he didn't enjoy it. He was used to that. So that was put upon me. And my mother had her own things, and my grandparents, and my neighborhood, and where I went to school, and my religion. So all these things, all these programmings, all this information was kind of put like a big set of weights on me, and slowly that's me. Do I want to be violent? No, I don't like that. Oh my God, I can't. Now I'm naked. So as you peel back all these things that aren't really true to you, that's what recovery is. It's reclaiming your identity, your true natural, your identity of who you are. I don't want to say in the soul level, because that's kind of fucking overused, but on a level that, that feels right. Me being angry, depressed, that's a feel right. Where that's from my father. Oh, that's from my mom. Oh, that's from my next door neighbor. And all this behavior I pick up because when I was young and open to receiving this, I came at the right time. Oh, that's what I'm supposed to be. And then you get validated for being that way. And all of a sudden the nail in the coffin gets deeper. And so recovery.
The real version of you is never ever seen. And that's the part of it that I don't think a lot of people fully grasp is like the biggest level of availability that you had was the day you were born. From that, you're a bunch of wet concrete that rolls in all of the conglomerate of the shit that is around you. And then at some point you become a full entire human being. But you don't hate people at 5 days old. You don't hate people at, 2 years old. At some point you learn to hate. At some point you learn to be afraid. At some point you learn to be angry. And all of those things you learn and pick up from everybody around you. Those aren't just your traits. They're the people that are around you.
I agree. And I think also with that, when I said these emotions are organic, it's just so we're not given an explanation of what it is. Like, what is frustration? Is frustration anger, or what is it? Is it fear? So we as children, we're not given any type of explanation as what's happening to us. We don't sit down and say, oh, this thing you're going through right now, this is that. And it means and all of a sudden we have these reactions in an environment that's inappropriate. Doesn't line up. Like as you said, you have your inner child issues. Sometimes I react to a situation. I'm a full grown man with skills and capabilities. Why am I reacting in the fear? Because this woman says something to me. She's not a threat to me, but yet in my mind, if she doesn't like me, if she's not happy, I'm going to starve them because, we're as children, if we don't get our parents' approval, we're going to fucking die, So we have to make sure our parents, are being happy and approving of us. And we kind of take that behavior into relationships and into the rest of the world. So my first reaction, are they happy? Are they okay? Am I pleasing them? Because if I don't please them, I won't get fed. And then I got, okay, wait. What's the reality here? I'm a mature man. I have skills, I have capabilities. I'm fine. I don't have to have that emotion. I don't have to be angry or resentful. Whatever's happening, it's not legitimate in this situation. And that's for me. That's my 0 point. That's getting back to zero. So, okay, I'm back to zero. What's happening here? What do I need here? As opposed to reacting to there from a place below zero.
Yeah, I was sitting there scrolling through shorts last night because, there are some nights where you just mindlessly do that when you're waiting to go take a shit. So I use the bathroom. And I came across this short and it said, a daughter who was never chosen by their father will be a significant other who never wants to leave your side. And I looked at my fiance and said,
Say again. Say again.
a daughter who is never chosen by their father will always be a significant other who will never leave your side.
Huh.
And I looked at my fiance and said, you're a shithead. And she said, why? I showed her the short. She's like, well, you did say that was probably true. And it was just like, oh, fuck. I'm just happy I showed up for my kids. Like,
Yeah.
the shitty part about it, though, is like that shit, that emotional shit is to that level of like, you don't even realize what fucking causes why you do things.
Well, and if once you dig deep enough, they'll come pretty obvious. I mean, they flash back to me all the time. Like I have pivot points. I know exactly when I lost my confidence. I know exactly when I lost faith in myself. I know the moment, and I know exactly what was said and when it was said. I know exactly the point, and then I can see it reverberating through my choices my entire life, through the people I get involved with, people I spend time with. I can see, oh wow, I am playing out this moment with my dad again. Oh, I'm playing out this moment with my mother again. Look at there it is. So it's not a fluid thing. There are crucial moments that are like building blocks. And this is a foundation of what you build. And it's like, okay, this brick, it's not going anywhere, but I have to know it's there. I have to know that this brick is here. And that's part of my foundation. And once I'm aware of that, there's a number of bricks here that, okay, I got to pay attention to stuff. Then I'm free to say, okay, no, am I doing this again? It makes it, and it feels like I'm slow because I got to process everything. But the truth is, if I do take that heartbeat to slow it down, I save myself hours, if not days and years of struggle. Just for that moment of breath, relax. Okay, what's really happening? What's going on here? What am I really doing here? And the minute I get to that place, I've saved myself so much time. It's like there's in the world of shooting, right? Snipers, they have that thing you've heard. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. And even as a hockey player, I know when I kind of slow it down, it gets smooth. I'm moving faster than I would if I was hustling. And it's the magic of being in that 0 point, being the uncarved block. You're not trying to do anything other than just be present with what you're doing.
And it's weird. I can, as you said, I know the exact point where I lost my motivation. I know the exact two places. And it's like, it was when I dyed part of my hair and started skateboarding and went to my grandparents. Because so I stopped talking to my dad at some point. I was like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. You're abusive. Don't want to be around it. Not fucking okay. But this was like one of the last times I went. He brought me to my grandfather's house. And he's like, well, you're skateboarding. You're dyeing your hair. This is unacceptable. You're going to be nothing better than a punk. You're just, that's all you're ever going to be until you decide to change it. And then my mom started. And she started calling me an egotistical little bastard.
Yep.
And I didn't even know what the fuck ego was at 11 years old.
Well, what you said is you're not okay. Didn't matter what the words. Yeah. As you are, you're not okay. And that's all you need to know. You don't need to know the words. You just know the intention. They said to you, as you are, you're not okay. And once you have that, once you start reinforcing the fact that, oh, I'm not okay. Things I choose to like, that's not okay. And go right back to the start of the conversation. Like, how do you get back to say, okay, how do I get to be okay? And that is everything I'm thinking and feeling has got to be okay with me first, right? So you don't have to go into any deeper than that. The tone was, I'm going to shame you for who you are because I don't like what you're doing. You're not okay. I don't like what you are. And you can dig into their psychology on that. But it's like, so you aren't okay because I don't like it. And what matters is what I think, not what you think, not what you feel. So that's the nutshell. That's the whole journey in a nutshell. You know, more complicated than that. That's a really great story. That's a really powerful story.
No, and it gets even crazier when you look at it just at like basic level psychology. It's because I exhibited, you know, thought processes or actions or phrases that sounded like this person or that person, and literally you just remove those things from that person's trauma bank, and all of a sudden everything changes. They don't say that action, that thing doesn't happen because all of a sudden they don't have the trauma that caused them to be fearful or struggling because of that thing that was said. And
I think
it's crazy.
I think in general, when people have given me those kind of comments in the past, it's really based on uh, control. Like they can't. If someone feels they can't control what I'm doing, because I know I'm guilty of this. When I've said things like that, it's like it's a way of controlling somebody else. It's something I don't recognize, or it's something I'm fearful of. So I tried to control them by getting them not to do that because it's fear. The fear, and your father was unable to express properly what he has. Look at that behavior. It's going to make your life more difficult than it needs to be. So when my father would say stuff like that, similar stuff to me, because it's different time periods. It's like he would say some really insightful things in retrospect, but he said them in such a harsh and shaming way I couldn't hear it. He'd say to me like, "Hey, you know, you can't spend time with that guy. You got to spend time with guys who do, you know, who are doing what you're doing." And he was right. If I want to be an athlete, spend time with athletes. If I want to be a musician, spend time with people who are on the same path, who are doing because this way you get momentum. If you're always doing different things, you got to get the people around you who are kind of going to be helpful and supportive going that direction. I couldn't hear that because the way he delivered it was so harsh and so like, you're wrong. Don't do that bullshit. What the fuck is wrong with you? Don't like it was coming from a place of him wanting me to know something, but he didn't have the skills to articulate it, and the fear that I would not be successful because he wasn't successful. You know, that he didn't want to see me be unsuccessful. But the other part was he didn't want to see me successful either. So it was fucking schizophrenic. He wanted me to be successful, but on his terms, right? And
or at least to his level. Like, and that's the weird part when you see people that have been squished down. A lot of the times it is by their parents who cause them to kind of like self-regulate how much they're able to do. You'll see people squish themselves down, become less of a person than what they really could have been, just because of like their thought process of what their parents wanted them to be, or the things that they kicked them with.
Yeah.
And it's like you totally could have been a better person if your shitbag of a dad didn't want to say the thing in a way that was acceptable, especially when you are the person that knows all of the negatives of them. But it could have been the right message and wrong person.
Imagine if your dad had some capability. He said, "Son, look at, you know, I love you. And here's the thing, you know, I know it's fun to do this. I know that but at some point you're gonna get this lifestyle comes with certain, you know, proclivities. So let's make sure that let's make sure you have other skills in that." He wasn't able to break down to why he is concerned for your behavior. Now, chances are, if he was able to do this, you wouldn't have gone on that route anyways. You probably would have gone in a more structured route. But, you know, skateboarding, that's all rebellion. That's all like, here, I'm freedom. I just, you know, there's a whole culture there that is rebellious, right? Especially back in the day. So if our dads were able to articulate, hey, listen, this group is not going to support you in a way that's going to give you a whole fulfilled life. There's problems here. You know, these kids are drinkers. These kids are partiers. You can't be an athlete. This is my story. You can't be an athlete at the highest level if you don't train. And these guys are taking you away from your training. So let's really get you focused on the training. You know, there are supports you with these other guys. It's, you know, that wasn't our fathers couldn't do that. They're so locked into their own self-hatred and self-denial that they couldn't offer that up because they had nothing for themselves. They weren't given that. My father had it worse than I did. In retrospect, you know, the poor father, his fucking.
I remember I went to this fucking go-kart track. And they're like, damn, kid, come here. They're like, you're really good at driving. We run races here every Friday and Saturday. We would love to pay your way if you need to be paid for, but we want you in those races. So I was like, dude, wait, what? Because I grew up watching NASCAR. I grew up watching
sure.
motorsports and extreme sports and everything else. Like that was me. So my mom brings me to my dad's house that weekend. And she's like, so Zach has this extremely cool thing that's going on. And she's like, okay, ask him, because he had to bring me on Fridays after I got swapped and everything else.
Oh, man, I know it's coming. It's fuck. All right, go ahead.
He looks at me after I'm like, yeah, Dad. So the go-kart track that's right down the road, literally after where we swapped, so it was closer to him, wants me to drive for them in their races and stuff. He said, absolutely not. I want nothing to do with this. The only thing I want to do is fish and hunt. And if you're not a part of that, then I don't understand why you're even coming.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. That sucks. You know,
No,
it's
just
because somebody saw you, right? Somebody saw you and saw value in you, and your dad didn't have the capability of seeing beyond his own limitations. That's tragic. Because that's something you probably would have been good at.
Yeah,
probably would have been good at. That's tragic.
Because it's something that you can like strategically break down step by step. You know what I'm saying? So it's very, very analytical if you actually want to do it and look at it and stuff like that. You have the feeling for it, and then you have the analytics of it. But yeah, no, it's just so weird because you're like, no, you don't even have to go past that. But like, if you do go past that, like one step, you do start to realize the things that they choose and do are totally determinately by the things that they want, not even what's best for you. And sometimes it's what's best for you. And then sometimes it's literally just, I don't want to.
I think it's what they think is best for you. And again, that's a hard thing, because sometimes, they do know. Sometimes your parents do know. They do know shit that you need. Sometimes they're right. Hey, doing heroin's a bad idea. Sometimes they're right.
Obviously.
So, but again, you mix that in with all the other not so good ideas, and all of a sudden it's hard to say, well, they were wrong about this. They're probably wrong about heroin too.
Like you got to use logic, but like, fuck, man, there are so many people that are just so disconnected from like what they are in the world that people just don't want to fully grasp it. They don't want to fully understand.
Yeah, I can't jump in on that much of a level. I've just been enjoying you guys talking though. One thing that I was thinking about was also like not even just family and stuff, but also your friends. That a big part of introspection for me recently has been like seeing like, oh, if my friend says or acts in this way, it upsets me, and to just do the not do the opposite of that, but not try to do the same thing, which is like being petty or having those little quips back or being like misunderstanding or something. So like before I have a negative engagement with anyone, I do have like a play out of like, okay, if this was me, how would I feel in that regard, and then what I should say or how I should address it to not just immediately quit back or immediately try to put them down over the thing that slightly offended me, because when it happens to me, I feel bad, or maybe it was a misunderstanding, so let's try to unravel the misunderstanding before I go for the throat.
Yeah, I mean, that really is all we have, I think, is like, self-regulate long enough so we can discern, are we truly in danger, or are we just reacting to something that's kind of imaginary?
Yeah, that way there's no mistakes happening on all fronts, whether it's like your parents with good intentions but bad ability to get it across, or even like your little friend group stuff. We're just like trying to make everything a bit better.
Yeah. What's that? I think also that the more self-regulation, self-contained one is, the easier it is for people around you to do the same. And if they can't, that those people no longer belong in your circle. So the more you can take care of, control your self-regulating, just be self-aware, just be self-observant. You don't have to fix anything. Just be aware. Just self-observation. Be aware of what I'm going through, and giving yourself the freedom to take the moment and just to observe yourself in any situation. You automatically, because you're not reacting instantly, you free up an opportunity for something different to happen. And then if that happens, people will really show you who they are. People tell us exactly who they are if we choose to slow down and listen to them. Like, you'll know exactly who somebody is when they start talking. Oh, right. It's like, it's just every time you've ever had a bump in a relationship, she told you who she was.
That is one of the most terrifying realizations in life, when you get a moment to reflect on that and be like, bro, everyone's told you exactly what they are.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's, exactly who it is, but you got to listen. You got to get rid of the fantasy about them. You got to, or whatever it is, whatever filter I'm using when I'm listening. If I really slow down, go, what did she just say? Oh, what did he just say? Huh.
Yeah, also how people speak about others, where it's like, that will come back on you at some point if they're like being this way towards someone else, or if they like make their mission statement but not directed at you, it's still going to find its way to you because that's who they are.
That's why you have the golden rule. You can't say something nice, don't say nothing at all. That's the golden rule. Keep your mouth shut. It's like, if you don't have something constructive to say, don't say anything at all, because it's not. Yeah, I learned that from the film industry. When you go to these screenings and the movie's just not good. You got to find something good to say. Hey, congratulations, you finished your film. That's a big fucking deal. Congratulations on that. Because you don't want to lie to them and say, look, your film sucked. But you find a way, and if they press, then you tell them the truth. But that's something where,
I like a good compliment sandwich. You can get your little jab in. You have the bread, the good, and then you put in the bad in between. Then you finish it off with another good. So you can get like a little bit of that anger or your criticism out. But if you can just kind of say like, yeah, you finished your movie, but then you put out that little thing, and then good job at the end. Like, still a great job.
Right. Like if I talk about your shirt, right, and I say to you, hey, it's a nice shirt. Did I make those for men?
That's a bit more backhanded.
Definitely more backhanded. My
favorite backhanded, like, not being condescending, just direct, where it's like good, bad, good, compliment sandwich.
My favorite backhanded one that I've done, I don't think probably because I was able to look back on it, but my ex sent me over text, hey, do I look like my mom? She was already my ex at this point. No idea why she was even asking me this, but do I look like my mom? And I'm like, no, you really don't look like her. You fucking act like her, though. Definitely don't look like her, though. And that was the end of the conversation. But I think I got my point across.
It should be. As it should.
Because, man, there are some times where you just have to get the fucking truth out. But fuck, man. Yep. Sometimes the truth cuts like a knife, and you don't want it to. But it's honest.
See, I find contention with that statement. The truth never cuts anything. The truth is just the truth. It's the resistance to the truth that cuts it. The truth is like, people use truth, the word truth, as a way to say, well, that's my truth. No, that's your opinion. You want it to be someone else's, Yeah. The best way to be is honest. Truth is hard to come by. Facts are hard to come by, And when I hear people talk about truth, it's like, yeah, but it's a really, truth tends to be very subjective in our current world, and finding objective truth, that's a tough call. Like finding facts. What are facts? We're running out of facts.
Not feelings anymore, obviously. That's how it should be. But, they're getting blended together.
It's what's fucked up is that, yes, you know what? Feelings are facts because we experience them, but they may not be reality. They may not be justified in the moment. Yeah, I'm sure you're feeling that, but I'm not your father. I'm not your ex. I didn't steal money from you. So your reaction to me is wrong. That's not an appropriate reaction. I know you feel that. That's your truth, but it doesn't define, your truth does not define the world.
You just did something that I haven't been able to do in fucking 10 years. I've been lost in this whole my truth bullshit because everybody fucking says my truth, your truth, their truth. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking? You're literally just putting your perception of everything and saying it's the truth because you want to be 100% right as what the answer is. And you just explained what my truth actually should be. And I've never been able to do that before, ever. Yes.
Play it back to me so I know what it is.
Your truth is actually the feelings and things that you experience from whatever fucking situation just happened in front of you. But that doesn't mean that it's reality. It just means that it is physically or emotionally what has happened to you because of the situation. That is it.
Yeah, it's your truth. That's your truth. It doesn't mean it's my truth. It doesn't mean it's my reality. Yes, have your truth. Go have your reality. But no, I'm not going to say you're a man. I'm sorry. I don't agree with that. But you go over there. You can, you're a dog. Yeah, I get you. You're a dog. Go on. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to join you there because I don't believe that. That's not my truth. That's not my
Thank you for accepting me against your truth, though.
Oh, fuck it. No, I can accept anybody as long as they don't demand I do it. Understand?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest problem. And but then like you still feel it as a personal attack when it isn't completely validated, and then that's when people just start making a mess out of it, where it's like, I don't care actually, but because I don't care, they feel like it's a personal thing against them.
But that's the thing. It's all bullshit because it's entirely external. You want someone to validate that you think you're a dragon. I can't validate. No, I don't. I see you as a man. I can't validate that for you. Don't ask me to be your validation. Don't demand I make you feel good about yourself. That's your job. I can't do that for you. I can, just because I agree with you, I can lie to you. You think, so you want what they're saying is, I want to have power over you. I want to control what you think because I have no ability to control how I feel about myself. I can't so I need you to reflect back to me what I think I need to see so I can feel good. Which is like, well, fuck, I'm not your fucking slave. Number one is that's your job. It's not my job to make sure that you feel okay. No, I don't want to do anything to make you feel, but just if me standing here speaking what that, and you feel bad about that, check that out for yourself. What is that? My job is not to sit there and make sure that every thought you have feels validated. I'm not your mommy. I'm not your daddy. And I'm not, you want to pay me to do that? Sure. Give me some money. I'll tell you you're beautiful. Yeah. Go. That's sure. Isn't that what a hooker does?
I was going to say, I'm like, now you're going to some kind of emotional prostitution.
Well,
I thought he was going to marriage.
It's exactly what it is. That's a great phrase. It's sure if you want me to make you feel emotionally stable, then first of all, it's impossible. I can't make someone else feel anything. I certainly can't make them think things. Can you throw out little tidbits to kind of like get them going in the right direction, a different direction? Sure, but if I could control someone else's emotions or thoughts, I'd get somebody, hey, listen, stop thinking that. Hey, don't feel bad. How many times you said, oh, don't feel bad? You can't control somebody. You can't do it. No one's got that power, man. Nothing worse than feeling like shit. So, oh, you shouldn't feel bad. Fuck you. I feel bad. Leave me alone. That's like.
Well, I don't know what fucking mafia movie it comes from, but maybe one of you guys will know. I just am not experienced in movies at all. But this mobster's like, well, what do you want more? Do you want love or do you want respect? Or do you want, no, it was respect or fear.
It's Bronx Tale.
And he's like, I want respect every single day.
Is it better to be loved or be feared?
Yeah.
He goes, it's better to be feared. It's from the Bronx Tale. I know exactly. Yeah. Is it better to be loved or to be feared? It's better to be feared. Because if they love you, they can still do it. If they fear you, so he had a really interesting take on that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's honestly how a lot of people run their lives too. Well, if you disobey me, then obviously you don't love me. So if I make you afraid of saying things, then obviously you're not going to come against me.
That's fucking intimidation. Yeah.
Well, it's girl bossing, gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss.
And I think the power behind that is like it also has more weight. Where if I just wanted to say something, yeah, you're this, just to get them on the way, they're also not going to feel it as sincerely. They're going to be like, no, 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 I want to make sure that they actually mean it, or that there's no way that they could think different than what they just said.
Yeah, it's fucking lunacy. It really is. But then again, so many people are so out of touch with absolutely fucking everything that this world is. Like one of these things that you fucking sent me this week. If you make more than 150,000 a year and drive a sedan around on open roads, you need a lesson in statistics and odds. It's literally the most dangerous activity on earth. And in a car, you're 100%, 140% more likely to die than in an SUV. It's like, yeah, sure, whatever. Who the fuck cares? And then some fucking idiot's like 100% agree, but brother, you take your family around in a single engine airplane, 20% more dangerous than driving a sedan. What do you, how many times are you on a fucking plane when you make $150,000 a year? Once? Twice? What are you talking about?
Well, those those kind of interactions are, to me, are best left unengaged. It's a waste of my mental pride. Look we only get so many pops in our brain. We only get so many thoughts, right? We have a shelf life, and what gets my attention has got to be really specific, because every thought, that's it, man. Like this moment, we don't get this back. Like this show, once we're done here, this is done. We don't get to live this moment ever again. So how do we want to spend it? And
Yep.
going off into these diatribes and these what ifs, that's just, first of all, I don't think that's, I think that's just a bot someplace. But those engagement traps, those funnels, they're useless. They generate no cognitive increase. In fact, it makes you dumber, because now you're thinking about something that there's no applicable sense to it. And what's worse, you may get life ideas out of this stuff that's not applicable. You may make decisions. Well, it puts programming in your head that's going to distort your reality. I avoid that shit at all costs.
Well, the interesting thing is, like, that's why I've shared that, to give that kind of commentary of like,
Yep.
look at these pointless things that are being bickered over every which way.
So V, but here's the thing: to what end?
Cautionary.
Yeah,
That's why, like, just be like, hey, these are the things that are happening. Observe to avoid.
For you, how does that make your life better? What have you improved in your life? Are you smarter, bigger, stronger? Did your vocabulary change? What is the benefit that you got out of engaging how much of your time, when you could have been, for opposite, you could be studying a program, you could have been, that time could have been spent actually developing skills that would improve your life. So my question is, like, to what end? To what end? These conversations, I enjoy that because I get to really, like I said, if I explain myself, I am clarifying myself to myself.
Exactly.
I find benefit, right? So I have a reason for being here that's not altruistic. I benefit from being here. I have these conversations. But what asking you is, like, where's the benefit to you? How do you really benefit by even engaging your attention in that arena? And what's the benefit? No, I'm not asking. I'm asking as a true question. What do you see as the benefit to doing that?
I got to get your insight onto the situation. You chose to go on for as long as you did to explain the problems with that.
No, I'm saying, what did you get out of doing that exchange you had?
I got your knowledge. I got your wisdom.
He didn't post the
On the
post. It was
situation.
posted by some random person, came up in his feed, and he's shared it to me to
Okay.
save it as a possible topic.
Okay, got it, got it.
Sometimes we kind of explore the stupidity of the world because at some point it is fucking hilarious how brain dead some people genuinely are. And the
So
fact that you have
this is why I love you, and I got to throw a wrench in this. Unfortunately, when we focus on the stupidity, we amplify the stupidity, and when we call it out, all we're doing is the people that we see having this, they're there honestly. They're not there because they want to be. They're there because something put them into the state of mind that they weren't able to discern from it. Because nobody wants to be in these holes. They're just there because they're stuck there. They don't, or they're so trapped that there's no. The hardest part about change is to when you, is if somebody is fucked up in your life and you hold them underwater, there's no way they can recover. The idea of forgiveness is like, okay, I gotta give this person an opportunity to recover themselves and rejoin. If we keep shaming and say you're stupid and you're doing, that's the bifurcation we have. Somebody has got to make a bridge. Say, okay, here's a gap. Here's an opening. Maybe you're not stupid. Explain yourself to me. Maybe you have something to offer that I don't. How do I hear you? Because right now what you're saying, I don't understand. Like I talked about had your dad had the skill to explain to you his fears for you, he might have made a change that would have benefited both your lives. And so I'm saying to you, yes, we can easily go on and look at everything that's been said and obviously that's silly. But at the same time, what if instead of spending time like that, we look for the connective tissue that we could create with somebody. Like, how do I have a conversation with this person? How do I do? And by sitting there and marking things as this, we are making greater distance. At some point, we got to stop saying, wait, okay, I want to make a bridge here. I really disagree with what you're saying, but I want to understand why you say it. That statement alone, it will show you exactly. You may get rejected 20 times, but there may be that one person who starts to explain it, and hey, wow, okay, maybe I had this a little bit wrong, and then change can happen. But we have to be able to forego the temptation and the momentum of pointing out someone. Hey, I got you. Ha! See, you're like this. What's our government? Well, you did this. Well, you did that. They don't talk. They just try to catch each other and, well, you said, you used the word and you said you've never well, right here, you said and, but you said you never used the word and. That's the idiocy we got. Like no one's able to communicate because they're so afraid that someone's going to catch something that wasn't perfectly phrased and they'll blow it up. Say, this disavows everything about you. There's 40,000 great things you did don't mean anything because you actually ate a hot dog without a bun, so you suck. Everything else you do is wrong because there's one thing you fucked up on, and that's what I'm trying to avoid here. I'm trying to call that we got to get out of that mindset. We got to give people space to move and change and move.
Mm-hmm. And if we didn't dip our toe in that idiocy, you would not have been able to give that knowledge to the audience. Because I also kind of do it in that regard. When I find a post like that, we're not beating down into whatever mess those people are arguing over. Just kind of like, let's observe and see what lessons can be found in whatever nonsense this exchange has, if there's lessons to be found.
Okay.
So, Woods, with your amazing life, obviously you've done a lot of fucking things. But I'm sure that you're like, dude, I want to do this. You want to drop your album. You want to be able to share that music with the world and everything else.
It's already out, man.
I just know you're waiting on the album art and everything else. You're waiting for.
I sent you a link, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. I mean, it's already out in Bandcamp. It's already got people are already buying it. It's just not out on iTunes and stuff. That happens probably tomorrow, but it's already out. People have access to it. Yeah.
Is there anything on your bucket list that you're like, dude, I want to use that tomorrow? Has there been anything recently that just jumped up to the top of your bucket list where it's like, oh, dude, I want that?
Well, I mostly want to regain things that have been lost. Like my knee has been a problem for 10 years. And I live near these mountains, and I used to climb these mountains. I want to climb that fucking mountain again. And I want to ride my bike. So it's more about I want to have that feeling of freedom with my body. And I want to be able to run again. So for me, it's about reclamation at this point. I have done almost everything I ever wanted to do. I've done some things at a very high level. I've done some things at a very low level. But right now, it's about I really want to. I want to have more freedom. I don't want to be bound by the limitations of old patterns and old ideas or things that I've used to prop up, my whatever identities I have. I want them to burn away. So the mission now is to strip away and just make a leap of faith. Just a fucking leap of faith, man. I want to sit here and say, okay, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but whatever happens, I'm going to be good. It's going to be great. So that's the mission. It's like I want to do an authentic leap of faith across the board. So no matter what I do, I'm going to be good. I'm good. And I want to have that faith. Like when I wake up in the morning, whatever's going to happen, it's going to be in my best interest, and it's going to be the best thing ever. And if somebody comes or goes out of my life, it's because the next thing coming in required it. And I got to be okay with that.
Yeah, it's so weird because you see a lot of these bucket list things where it's like, oh, I want to go to this place or see that thing. It's never I want to do the thing. It's just I want to see it.
Mm.
And that never really makes sense to me. Like, yeah, I want to go to Germany. I want to go to France. Like, you want to go to all the places. I think that's a human thing. You want to see all the crazy things. You want to go to the pyramids. You want to go to Jordan. You want to see the things. But it's like, okay, you can only see the things so many fucking times before it's like, I already saw the Taj Mahal once. Like, how many more times do I have to go to be like, I did the thing? It's weird because at some point you're like, out of the things that I want to do in life, what is the next step? It's never like the crazy off the wall thing of like skydiving, because I think people either want to skydive and they will at some point, or they don't care about it at all. And they're like, why would I ever jump out of a plane? The plane's good and safe. It's weird. It's weird because like a bucket list is just the extremes of what the person is. It's not.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's not ever like rounding you off as a person. It's even more or less making a extreme of what you are.
I think the challenge is a lot of that stuff you've mentioned. I've been fortunate enough to do, and the one blessing I've had, and I don't know where it came from. I think I have an idea of how it happened to me, but I've always had a strong desire to be present wherever I was. So when I was playing, if I was on a bike trip, like I take these like 400 or 500 mile bike trips, right? Being present on the bike was more important. Was the most important thing. Like just watching seeing the leaves and just being present, not being in the head, not suffering, but just being present. And even when I spent time, I played hockey in Europe, right? I lived in Europe for a couple of years. Just being like, I should get on a train. I want to go hang out in Brussels today, or go to a museum, or go to Brugge, or up to Amsterdam, or into Germany, or over to Italy. It's like just being there. And I had these vivid, because I know it worked, because I had vivid memories. Whenever I'm present, and I've really just felt I can tell you exactly what it looked like, what it smelled like, but there's things that I've done that I have no memory. I remember the first time I jumped out of the plane. I don't remember anything. I was so shut off. I immediately, at the minute the chute opened, I go, fuck, I missed the whole experience. All I remember.
Do it again.
I did. Literally got down. So I got to go again right away. Let's go. Because I was like, I remember they opened the side of the plane up. I felt the wind. I panicked. And then I was just going through the motions. Like trying to, put your foot here, this here, hands up here, look at the dot, and let go. and all I did that, and I was just I was out of my body. And the next thing you know, I felt my feet kick up, and I'm sitting in this harness, and I'm looking. I was down Long Island at the time. I go, fuck! I just missed the entire jump, and I couldn't wait to get down. Come on. And I had to get back on. This time I had to be present. I had to be in the moment and felt the wind. And now I get, I remember it now because I took the time to really feel it and be present with it. But the first time, it's just, ever been driving your car and you're going someplace and all of a sudden you get there and you go, how the fuck I get here? Holy shit. I've been driving 20 minutes. I don't remember a thing. That terrifies me. Those kind of moments. And so the bucket list to me, it's not a bucket list unless you're going to be present. I mean, I know a lot of people who've flown and like been to the Machu Picchu, but don't remember it. They got to take pictures. That's why this is an obsession with cameras. Like, we're taking pictures. Well, yeah, but if you're taking a picture, are you there? Are you paying it? Are you in the moment? And that's where it gets challenging. Can you stay in the moment? That's why being in my front yard, sitting out there and just on my patio, just kind of being in, that's a big moment. And watching the leaf, this tree grow in front of my house.
There's no difference between Machu Picchu and my Porchu. There's no difference depending on what the fuck you're putting into it.
Unless you're being present, then you're going to sense.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll sense the difference. That's about present. Being able to sit there and be present, you will see the difference. There's probably a huge difference, but you've got to be able to tune into that and be centered with it, and then this experience. Because I've had a lot of those kind of elevating, climbing mountains, and like, sure, I mean, the 13,000 feet in Colorado, it's like 13,000 feet in Switzerland. Well, it's not. It's different. The whole environment's different. The presentation is different. So my point is, like, it's one thing to have these aspirations to go, like you said, see things, but to go and experience them, that's really, for me, that's the goal. How do I experience? If I can walk down the street and experience the lady at the supermarket, that's more valuable than me traveling out to the desert and driving through the desert and not being present. I'd rather have experience with this woman at this cashier. It's more, I can remember, it's more alive than driving out to Palm Springs. How the fuck did I get here? What am I here all of a sudden? I missed the entire journey.
I think that's a big thing that the reason why they keep going on vacations, they keep seeking adventure, is because they haven't stopped to be present and enjoy whatever they're on, and then realize that's what it's about. And since they never learn, they just keep chasing it. Great
point. Now I'll get, if I do more, if I get more of it, right? If I get more of it, then maybe I'll, because if some was good, more is better, right?
Or that adventure wasn't good enough. That's why I didn't feel it. I need to have a more grand adventure.
Yeah. It didn't fulfill the promise, but it should have. You're missing something. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. It's almost like an addiction, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like an addiction.
Got it. They have to have a bigger hit because they didn't appreciate it at any time. And that kind of loops back to what you were saying earlier with just like making more money, and then people just don't land where it feels like they need to land to just be happy.
Yeah.
So I something you said brought up like this thought process, and maybe I'm completely off base and you were on a motorcycle. Were you talking about motorcycles or like an actual like mountain bike or BMX bike or whatever? When you were on a bike trip?
Oh, road bikes.
Oh,
I raced bikes when I was younger. I was a cyclist. My off-season training, because basically when I grew up, no one had a car, so I rode my bike since I was like 9 years old. I grew up in the old days where you get a bike and you 20 miles into the city, see your grandma, come back. Everyone did it. It was not something that was unusual. So riding a bike was a big part of my childhood, and then I just did it as a training, and I just started doing races, and one thing led to another, and I started racing bikes, and then it became something that I did in summer just to get for my leg strength as a hockey player. So it became a very good, off-season training effort. So yeah, I started racing bicycles. Yeah.
Me and my brother used to ride our BMX bikes all the time, but my son stumbled upon this whole like down It's sort of like trails, but also a mixture of trails and like extreme sports at the same time. So it's like jumps and bridges and stuff like that.
Downhill MBX, downhill bike
Yes.
racing. Fuck, dude, that is so athletic. Oh my god, those guys are amazing. It's
And my
so
son's like,
Oh my-
Dad, there's a track on the other side of the mountain. It's like basic bitch level stuff, but it's like, okay. I was like, let me see if my ankle is going to heal up or if this is what I'm going to deal with, and then maybe we'll do it next summer. And just like thinking about this bucket list stuff, it's like that's a thing that would be like a blast to not only check off my list of like doing something, but like also experiencing that. And that's kind of what I've done the entire time with a lot of the things that I want to do is I will check it off with a kid or I will check it off with all of my kids and we
sure.
do the thing together. And it's been a way to like keep me in the moment. But this whole like mountain bike track thing has been one of the coolest things of like, nah, that just sounds like a blast. And it's like old man enough to where it's like I could do that still and probably not fuck myself up that badly.
But here's the thing. I've done that. That's so fun. But you don't have to go balls out. You can just do it at a pace that's safe. That's where
Exactly.
I don't have to go 100 miles. I can go 10. I just want to go down the trail. Like I don't have to, charge up the mountain like I did when I was, 40. Oh God. It's like I just want to go up the hill again. And it may take me 3 times, but I just want to do it again. And like for you, just go down the hill, man. You can go down where you are now. Just start from where you are. You don't have to go balls. You have to hit the jump. You go around the jump. They've compensated for that.
No, that's not how it works. You got to go for it.
No, man.
Fuck it. I have done it before. Might as well do it once.
Well, good luck with that. I would urge.
Yeah, I'm just like, Zach, you're not taking the correct lesson here. You can
No,
make
you
it
do it
as
all.
powerful as that jump in your mind if you're just more with what's going on.
Just going down, and doing it within. I call it being within yourself. May give you something you hadn't expected. So that's what I'm saying.
Well,
Staying within oneself is the hardest lesson I have ever had to learn. Staying within myself.
and not knowing where that line is the hardest fucking thing as you get older. And being like 31, I'm like, I don't know where that line's not that far from where I was when I was 25. I wasn't able to do things then, but that line shouldn't be that far.
Well, if you're like a human being, like the rest of us, I promise you that line is artificial. And had you been able to stay within yourself the whole time, things would be vastly different. Ask me how I know.
Exactly.
Ask me how I
No,
know. Ask me how I know.
which one hit you in the face the worst?
They all do. Look at some point they all come back like, oh, if I had just stayed within myself, I would have. Give me an example. I was playing college hockey, right? That's pretty good, and it was easy. Get the puck, left, right, move to my wing. That's all I had to do. First line. That's all I had to do. Pick the puck up, give my partner, get it back, move to the wing, go up. And that's all I had to do to stay in the first line. It was a very simple game. There's little things, a handful of things, just do those. And of course, with me, I need chaos. I need crisis. I need to go for it. So every now and then I would do something and make a mistake. And then I'd frustrate my coach. And they say I get benched. Now I'm not fucking playing. But all I had to do was let it be easy. Stay within myself. And then slowly discover the next opportunity. Like, again, see what comes. Leap of faith. Don't always be in control of the outcome. I got to get this. I got to hit that. I got to come down this. I got to hit, like when I ski. Or I got to hit the triple. No, just fucking take the easy way down.
Just do it.
Enjoy the skiing. No, I got to hit the ice pail. It's all that fucking clenched fist shit I was talking about earlier. No, man. Fine. Especially now as a musician, I can tell in a heartbeat when I can tell when I'm pushing. It just sounds like shit to me. I was working too hard. You only need 2 notes there. It's like what am I trying to play a whole run? Just put 2 big notes in there. Oh, that's beautiful. And that's the lesson. How do I stay within myself, and what does that feel like? And I'm not going to know until I stop always trying to push the red line. It's like I'm always pushing that fucking red line. What's my line? No, man, your line is that's not it. If I got to push that fucking hard to get there, obviously that's not it.
Yeah. No, I know that every dude at least, talks about this point where they're like, oh, I can no longer do a backflip or run this far or do this thing. And it's like, I get it. I understand that I'm not going to be fucking 16 forever. I get it. But it's like, there are so, with having my kids as young as I did, I get this unique perspective of like, I get to experience some of the things that I did as a teenager
Sure.
with them,
Yep.
which, but I don't know where the fuck the line is, but I'm going to try and figure out where the fuck it is and, explore
remember,
all of it because why not?
here's the thing you gotta be paid, and maybe you might want to pay attention to. Your kids are not going to learn by the words you say to them. They're gonna learn by watching you do what you do. So if you overextend yourself, what are they gonna learn to do?
To overextend themselves, burn themselves out.
So if you
Absolutely.
don't practice contemplative nature, being within yourself, being easy, going easily through things, what are they gonna learn? And if you're at ease, are you more likely to gain speed and dexterity because you're at ease, or or if they see you squeezing that fist so fucking hard that your hand breaks, what are they going to do?
Mhm.
So maybe the challenge with your kids is not to recreate your what you did, but maybe do it differently for yourself and let them watch you do it, because they will then learn how to do something that you weren't trained to do. So by you learning something new, think of all the things you open up for them. They learn how to learn different behaviors. They learn how to be within themselves. They learn how to be contemplative. All these things, which are you're fighting for now, they will learn by watching you slow it down, find the calmness, and just find the peace in the activity. And when you have peace in your activity, you just get better at it because you're not resisting. You're not clenching the fist. You're not closing off the blood anymore. So just a thought
Yeah.
to ponder.
Age is just a number, Zach.
Oh, I know. It's weird because there are some days where you don't fucking remember how old you are, and then there are some days where it's like this ankle's still not healed 5 years later. It's rainy and I just don't feel the greatest, but god damn it, I want to do the things. And it's like I would just rather do the things.
Yeah. Well, I just want to do it from a different place. I want to do these things again. I want to play hockey again, but I want to do it from a different place. I want to do it from a place of containment, of being within myself, not striding, not reaching, not trying to. I just want to do something where I can be fearless.
I had that I had that in a much smaller field last year. My oldest daughter was like, "Hey, Dad, I think I want to play softball next year." So I got everybody gloves because like that's the obvious answer. You don't just get one into it, you make it so it's available for everybody. And then because of my neck injury, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to throw. So it's like, guess what? I'm going to use throwing as my motion in order to get my arm and hand back into rotation. And I'm going to see where my line is of how long I can do this on one day, and then for a week, and then for a month. And dude, it was weird playing wall ball with myself at 31 years old, but god damn it, it felt good to just be able to get out and do something.
Yeah.
It's like, should playing wall ball at 31 by yourself feel fantastic? No, but god damn it, at some point, if I was like I'm gonna go play on a fucking men's softball team or whatever, you gotta start at playing wall ball first. You can't fucking jump all the way to the end. So it was just so weird because it's just like there are always things that just stick out of like, no, I gotta do it. I have to because I have to see how it feels.
Small
God
step,
damn it.
small corrections, it's like flying a plane, small corrections. And when you fly a plane, like it's like you're just kind of small correct. It's not like, not like in the movies where it's like, no, it's small little adjustments, constantly.
I was about 12 years old and I was offered to fly a plane, and it's the one thing that I wish actually happened that I didn't like have the availability to happen that day. Like it was just a shitty day. It was cloudy and somewhat rainy, so we just rode around on fucking four-wheelers and a UTV all day. And I was supposed to fly a fucking single engine plane that day, and god damn it, I wish that would have fucking happened because that would have been cool.
Well, that's the beauty of life. something like that you can do anytime you want.
But it's never going to hit the same as, doing that at 12 years old, where it's like, oh, that's unattainable. That's a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
Now it's like, okay, that's $500 in a day of going somewhere and getting it and doing it. It's much different when you have the logic of an old man.
Hmm.
I know, I'm not old, but like, it's different when you look at things like that.
There's a reason I don't have a mirror in my house. There's a reason, because when I wake up, I feel like I'm 25 years old, and I look in the fucking, I go, who's the old man in a fucking mirror? The hell are you doing here? So yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, man. It's like, no,
I
I don't.
just by feeling.
No, man. It's like, that's not. Look in the mirror. I have one small mirror in the bathroom. I keep it frost steamed over after I take a shower. Fuck it, I'm not gonna look in the mirror.
Yeah, no looks terribly wrong. That's good enough. The blurry, foggy version looks presentable, so I think I've done well.
I don't even bother. I you know what? And what's great is like my vision's so bad I can't see myself anyway, so it's fucking great. It's like
the one thing about myself that I'm the happiest about, and this is gonna sound vain as fuck, but it's still going to ring true as I hit 50 and 60 and 70 as well, because I know myself. I can look down and I still can see my dick and I still can see my feet. My feet are fucking huge, so I know I'll be able to see them for a long ass fucking time.
you've got the bar set so fucking low right now.
That's a pretty good fucking bar to have. Dude, if you can't see your dick, what the fuck are you doing with your life?
Oh my God. No. Standards, man. Standards.
Hey, that just means I can reach the fucking ceiling and keep going much easier if I know where the floor is.
6'8", right?
What was that?
You're 6'8", right?
I'm 6'5".
I thought you were a little taller than that. Still 6'5". That's some fucking height right there.
Yeah, I'm 6'5", 170.
You're right. That is, what do you call that? Concentration camp?
Yeah, yep.
Wow.
Yeah, no, and I can't put on weight.
It's a great thing. It's a
I
great
eat stupid amounts. There's zero reason why I can't.
It's a great
Just
thing,
can't.
man. You believe me, you're gonna get into your 60s and 70s. You're gonna repeat I'm trying to lose like a pound a year because I don't want to be heavy going into my older years. Like I hover around 190 in general, right? Since I was like 17 years old, I've been like between 187 and 195, basically.
Yeah.
Depending on how much I lift weights and work out. Now, like last year, when I was playing hockey last winter, I got down to like 185. I felt fucking great. But I was skating 3 days a week, and I was like just super lean, man. It's like everything. Like I would sit in the car and I couldn't feel any. I had no overlap in my belt. Like my body sat inside my jeans, right? I didn't have any skin hanging anywhere. It's like fucking felt great. It's like, yeah, I like this. And then life happens, man. Shit happens.
Exactly. That's why this next shit fucking sucks, because there will be times where I am 3-4 months of nerve migraines and just laying in bed and trying to do what I need to do.
Yeah.
And then there's 6-7 months where it's like, dude, I feel fantastic.
All right.
Like I remember right after my surgery, I have this picture of myself. Will show nobody ever, but right after my surgery, I still have the steri strips holding my chest closed, and I'm 195. So before that surgery, I was about 200 pounds, and I look like I have a microbrewery in my fucking stomach, and that's the only place I'm carrying any weight. And I told myself I will never look like that again.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. Yeah. But that's him. I mean, that's a huge recovering from surgery is tough. It's fucking tough.
Especially when it fails.
Yeah, the body does not. The body wants to heal itself, and it'll draw energy from everywhere else. That's why it's so hard to recover. If you got to go back to work and you can't. It's like it's just your body needs send everything you have. It's like watching Star Trek. You're diverting all power to the engines. You gotta. That's the healing process.
I was just explaining that entire story to my fiance the other day because I kept a lot of it to myself because my neck surgery by itself was fucking weird. It happened the day before Christmas. So we had to do Christmas with my two oldest before Christmas. And then we brought them to their grandparents on my ex's side. And then me and my ex went to the hospital. My ex was pregnant at the time. And I went in for surgery and I went into the cardiac ICU afterwards. I was supposed to be there for about a week. And I ended up being there for 2 days. And before I went in for surgery, my doctor looked at me. He said, well, he told my ex-wife to leave the room. He's like, I need to have a conversation with just Zach. I need to see where his mind is, not where your mind is and where you're forcing him to be.
Wise man. Very
and
wise.
He's like, you cannot just do everything. You cannot just be the I'm going to brute force everything. And I looked at him and said, I have no choice. I have to.
Mm.
And he's like, well, what does that mean? I looked at him and said, there hasn't been a day I haven't brought out the garbage. There hasn't been a day I haven't done every single thing I possibly can do before I pass out. I said, I still need to be present. I still need to be here. I need to take this 20% risk of death because if I'm not 100% of what I possibly can be for these kids, then I'm worthless.
Yeah. Yeah, good point.
And we got a call after I was in the hospital for a day. Oh, the kids are arguing. We can't handle the kids anymore. You need to come get them. So I looked at my on-call, not on-call, but on-floor nurse, and I'm like, sign me out. They're like, well, we can't do that. No, you're going to do that. You're going to take this port out of my chest so that way I stop leaking blood. It's empty now. I'm okay. I want to leave. So the day after Christmas, me and my ex drive, I think it was like 3 hours to go pick up the kids at their grandparents' house because they were arguing and fighting with their grandparents because they were talking shit about me, about how I'm a piece of shit to my kids. And whatchamacallit? I walk in. Not my ex who walks into her parents' house, but I walk in. Because guess what? My kids are here. It's my house. You're not going to disrespect me while I'm in the fucking hospital and talk shit. This isn't okay. So we come home with the kids and everything else. We brought the kids directly home with us. The next morning I wake up, first day I'm home. She's like, can you bring out the garbage? Like, what the fuck is this? Just because I signed myself out of the ICU, I still have to make sure. Yep. See, this is what I was talking about, doc. This is day 3 after surgery, taking out the garbage, doing 3 hours worth of car rides that I'm not supposed to be doing. Let's go. It's so weird and different how life is when you actually give yourself that time and availability to understand what the fuck shit is.
That's also about, understanding what is yours and what is not yours to handle, that's like, and getting ourselves into situations that, all right, I had this is, I'm torn because I don't have kids. I've never been married. So I've made a lot of decisions around that and it gives me a lot of opportunities. But also I'm like, well, the comeback is, well, you've got no kids, you've got no one to care for you in your older age. And I go, I know so many people who have kids, the kids hate them.
Yep.
And they're, what's worse, being, so it's like that whole thing is like making a decision how to live your life and what to really let affect us is, keeping it's called keeping a guardian at the gate of impressions. What will we allow to influence us, and what are the boundaries that we can internally set for ourselves so that other people's opinions don't, like, we're not dependent on other people's opinions for our security, our safety, our validation, or even to feel like we're doing the right thing. So it's we get to make decisions, but what kind of pressures around us that is forcing us to make decisions we don't really want to, we don't really want to make or really shouldn't make. Hey, did you, not to break up a great conversation, but there's been another shooting. You know that, right?
No, I didn't. What the
Yes,
hell's going on?
in Minneapolis, somebody attacked an ICE agent with a shovel.
Yeah, I just saw like a DHS tweet,
Yeah.
and I have no idea.
So what happened was the guy attacked him with a bunch of people attacked a bunch of ICE agents, and one guy came at a guy with a shovel. He shot him in the leg. So
Fucking hell.
Drama everywhere.
It's just so fucking inconsistent, and it's honestly fucking scary to wonder what the fuck's going on, because it is just everybody seeking validation.
Yeah,
anybody who says that she was doing the right thing for that chick that was in the car that ended up getting shot doesn't, like, you could say that it was the wrong thing to do. I could understand your point. I can put myself in your shoes to understand where you're coming from. But you cannot say that she was doing the right thing.
Oh, there's so many indicators that she was there, and there's so many indicators that it was organized. This whole thing is when you look at, when you break up, let's take all the right, wrong, good, bad out of it. Let's look at actions and escalations. Like this whole thing, why would you send 100,000 Somalis into one little city in Michigan? Why would you do that? Or Minneapolis? What's the point? Because again, like you're bringing in a failed culture, and now you're paying for it, you're subsidizing it, and now it's there. What do you think is going to happen? Why was that done? Like I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but it's obvious that when you bring a failed culture into a success and you pay them to set up camp, that they think they're successful now because now they're being paid for. The human brain,
they're given more than what they already had.
So, but that's right. Now they're successful here, and they keep doing what they're doing. Why? Because they got them here. You're gonna do what you do, and they think that's what this is. And the people who are fighting against the removal of criminals, like what is that about? What are you fighting for? Again, I'll go to this poor Ukrainian girl who got stabbed in the neck. They did no coverage in that whatsoever. This girl who's just coming back from work, guy stabs her in the neck for no reason. There's and the whole train sat there and watched her bleed out. And there was no outrage. When I see that tells me that this has been a designed attack. This has been an attack on society that was designed. What else could it be? I mean, be so specific and so obvious. It's got to be. It's not accidental. It's not coincidental. It's like it's a.
Think about this part. Is like, okay, so you have Irina Zarutska, which is obviously a very non-moral thing. You have Charlie Kirk that happened, which is against morality. That was the biggest, outspeaking person of morality. Now you have this thing that happened in Minneapolis. I understand time jump. I don't really care. Everybody jumped and said, oh, well, they killed a mother. They killed a mother. A mother who had her kids taken from her for accepting the abuse of the stepmother. The stepmother that told her to run the person over.
Yeah.
Now you see the most disgusting thing in the entire fucking world. And as a parent, this frustrates me. And I think that as a whole, it should frustrate the entire fucking country. People that are going against DHS right now are saying, I'm just a mom. I'm just a mom. Look, my kid's right there. Why the fuck?
What is your kid doing there? What is your kid doing there?
Not only what is your kid doing there, if you're worried about being a parent,
what are you
number
doing?
One, you shouldn't be doing illegal things. And number two, you shouldn't be putting yourself in a situation where you could get shot.
Why is your kid out? What are you doing? Again,
you do not deserve to be a parent.
But that's my point. Like somewhere this individual was convinced that is the thing. And again,
virtuous.
But it's virtuous, but it's also it's kind of like here, I dare you to shoot me. Like, why would you do that? What do you think I'm going to prove you're a bad person. I'm going to do things to make you shoot me. Well, yeah, if you hit me with a shovel, you could kill me with that. You hit me with a car, and she did hit him with the car. And her girlfriend did say, drive, baby, drive. And they try to say that they turn it into such lies. But my question is, who's they? Who's the they? Because we don't know who's behind these all these videos. We don't know who that is. We don't say that. Is it a good chance it's some national adversary? Of course it is. The Chinese, they thrive on this shit. The Russians, they're brutal. The Russians have arrived at a very honest, brutal place. They've been under attack by Europe since what? Napoleon? Before Napoleon? They've been under attack for 200 years. Of course they're fucking defensive and bitter. Talk about Russian, study Russian. My hockey coach is a Russian history teacher. So plus we really liked the Russian type of hockey back in the day. And so we got drilled with the Russian Revolution, and Russia has been under attack. Now, I'm not defending anything. I'm just saying you got to look at motivations. They've been under attack by Europe since the mid 1700s. They've been under attack constantly. The czars. So there's a deep distrust of anything European. They don't consider themselves Europeans. They're Russians. So anyway, I don't know. That's a diatribe. I don't know how I get off on that. But who is proliferating this stuff?
That is the thing where it's just like so confused. Like the why. There's a why there because it is so strange as to what the result is, or like how they're accomplishing all of these things. It's like, and we also saw this with Ohio back in with Springfield, Ohio. It's like, what are you doing with 20,000 ineligible Haitians? Because that's the parole program, the otherwise ineligible immigrants. It's like, why would you put 20,000 people into a city? What about the homeless people? What about the people that need jobs? Like, why weren't they offered $5,000 a month first?
Again, that's legitimate, but that's so down the road of things to look at. Question number: when you inject, 3,000 people into a town of 1,000. You've changed that town you've now made the population of that town the minority. So the culture is going to shift. You've destroyed that town, basically, as with the left. This happened all over England. Like they'll drop in 3,000 or 4,000 people into a small English or Irish town. It changes the culture forever. Because now
it happened in 2020 with New York City coming up to the upstate New York. It's changed all of upstate New York. Because you have towns that 1,000 people, 2,000 people now are 50-50 with New York City people, and they're different. Like even just that big.
It's a different culture. You are exterminating the local culture, and you're bringing into something that is probably a failed culture to a place that's probably functional. That's why they got dropped there. They're functional. They had a fair amount of public services. They were stable. And they chose them because they're stable. We can feed off of them, and that's not accidental. That's a plan. That's a well-planned attack. That's a well-planned invasion. It's an invasion. If you bring in 100,000 people, okay, you can parse that out. You bring in 20 million people over 4 years. That's an invasion. Especially if they're not here to assimilate, they're here to make pockets and take over. It's like. Just look at London. Just look at London, and New York. I don't know if New York is going to fall that quickly because, you still got a lot of tough boys from Brooklyn, and some of the guys in Hell's Kitchen are still, the Irish guys are still pretty tough. I think at some point there's going to be violence, and I don't think and as long as they keep defunding the police, there's going to be nobody to protect them from the violence they're about to create for themselves. And the idiot.
I wonder if New York, and I know everybody probably wants to go to sleep. We'll leave in a minute. But I wonder almost if New York is going to go back to the way it was in the 20s. If it's going to go back to almost like a families kind of situation where it's like, oh, the Irish guys got together and the Italian guys get together and they clean shit the fuck up.
Oh
Because
yeah.
it's going to be the only way New York goes back together.
Well, it's. I don't think there's enough. I don't think there's enough guys left. I think Staten Island's going to be okay because it's still pretty much Italian. You got parts of New York. See, I don't know if Hell's Kitchen is still. They kind of gentrified all that out of there, and I think I don't know if the most of the Upper West Side. It's all soft liberal guys. I guess one of my best friends there, and he's more conservative than I am, but he votes Democrat. It's insane. Yeah, like I keep telling, dude, they're about to, he's got he does very well for himself. I go, you're on a target list. You make enough money where they want your shit. And he goes, nah. I go, anyways. So I don't know. I just don't know if there's enough left. And when I think about it, because it's all these very soft, well-educated guys or people who are just feminine dominated, like they just because there's girl power, and these young men they want to get laid, so they figure, okay, I'll acquiesce to these girls because that's how I'm going to get my rocks off. But I don't know, Zach. I hope you're right. I don't know if there's if enough guys have stuck around, because there's the generation after yours. I don't think they've been indoctrinated in a different way. I don't know if they care about that. They want free shit. They've been trained.
The one after them will completely fuck everything up that all of these people are fighting for.
I think it's going to be where all the money gets drawn out of New York City, because like businesses don't need, if they're not making money, they're not going to stay. And if once that money, we've seen it before, once that goes away, once businesses start injecting money, then people who have it, they start, like my buddy, he's going to start feeling the drain. The taxes go up. All of a sudden, instead of paying 20 grand, he's paying 120 grand. It's going to, you know what? I don't think I want to be here anymore. So when you start really taking down people's retirements and drawing money out of that they've earned to pay for somebody who doesn't want to work, you're going to have a hard time, getting people to stick around. And then once they start going, that flight happens. Sure.
That's what I'm saying.
There's going to be no money to think. There's going to be, there's already 70% vacancy down in the business district. They never recovered from COVID, and people are just it's like, sure, what are you going to do?
The change doesn't happen now with Trump and Vance and like this kind of ideology that's there now.
Right.
Obviously, it hasn't finished swinging yet. We all see it, but like if this doesn't change it and push it back towards being more conservative, I think we're like another 10 to 15 years before another change happens again.
Well, I think we're closer to a national divorce, so to speak. I think we're closer to like there are just few people willing to tolerate that. Like it's like there's enough of a backlash where fuck it, take New York. We'll take the food belt. We'll take all that. You can have California, you can have Seattle, and we'll just take the rest of it. And I just think that there's going to be that type, and those places will fail because once the money stops flowing, you can't. And there's so much theft, and California is a failed state right now. It's amazing how much money is being spent and nothing gets done except people getting rich. So yeah. I just think there's I think there's going to be a moment of there's going to be an inflection point where people just say, fuck it, fuck you, go ahead, destroy yourself. We're going to buckle down here in Florida. We're going to buckle down. We're going to take over the South. We're going to build an independent country that doesn't buy that stuff. And what's going to happen is it's like they're going to eat their own. I mean, all these hot spots where they dumped all these people without skills to be, they're gonna need. They live on federal government support, and as soon as they cut that off, That's when it all changed. As soon as they get some balls with the Republicans and say, no, we're not. There's no more EBT for anybody. There's when they make those requirements much more stringent. Like if you're an illegal immigrant, you don't get shit. They're gonna go, or they're gonna start a war, try to demand things. And at that point, Billy Bob and his boys are getting out, over on I-95, and I think there's gonna be some ugliness. So many guys who are just pissed off, and they're sick of being called racist because they just want to have a nice life, and they're sick of being called these names, and they don't care anymore. And I don't know. It's if there cannot be a conversation had about what's happening with the ICE, like what they're really doing, if that can't be, if people on the left cannot slow down and say, okay, what's really happening here? How do we negotiate here? Can we build a pathway for the people who have built good lives? Can we make a system where, can we build a pathway for people who we want here? But most of them are just here living on, they're just here and benefits right now.
Burles have said this so many times. It's like the hardest part is if you try and look to the middle for compromise, both sides, whoever's compromising takes it as a fucking loss. Yeah. So then that means that we're swallowing our pride and saying that we are not getting as much as we could. So therefore, we never can do this. And it's just like, guys, that's not how we should be running a country. It's not gotchas.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. How do you just have negotiation? Why are you resisting? It's just, hey, you have to go. Okay. We'll help you do this because there's some folks that need to get out of here. But can you give us something? No one's going to be that unreasonable, but politicians will be. So that's the thing.
I think the state system is what makes it interesting, and that's also what led to divorce shenanigans in well, actually just straight up civil war. But yeah, so when you think about the flight isn't allowed in like actual dictatorial countries because they're going to lock in and make sure that company stays, or you have to do like some really sketchy stuff to take your money out. Anyone that's like, I'll just move my business to Florida or Texas can do it without any issues. So I think that's what's going to be what potentially causes a civil conflict, is if New York goes, no, you can't leave, we're locking down our state. If that happens, that's when shit hits the fan.
California's done that. California's, if you leave here, take your business out, they say they can charge you your next 3 years of income tax.
Yeah. So like it depends on like if they have to keep escalating that, because so far that hasn't stopped a lot of people. They're like, you know what? It's actually cheaper for me to just pay the ransom now and still leave.
Yeah. And that's already happening. Well, again, I'm sure we could solve the problems of the world, but guys, it's fucking 9:30. I got some shit to do here tonight.
Yeah, it's 12:30 for me.
Yeah, it just ran long. That's great.
All right, boys. Listen, it's fucking great talking to you guys as always.
See you next time, boys.
All right.
Go check out Woods.
Do me a favor. Spread the news about my album. It's on Bandcamp right now. It's just go to jamescburns.music. And I'll take you to
Put the link down in the description for him.
Can you do that for me?
Check it out. Yep, I got you.
That, yeah. And it's free. I mean, if you want to contribute, you can, but it's a free download, and I'm fucking proud of it. So I hope everybody gets a chance to listen.
It turned out fantastic. I didn't even tell my fiance exactly what it was before I started playing it, because I didn't even know. You just sent it to me, said, here's my music, check it out. Listen to this one specifically. I think you'll like it. And I was just like, no, I got like halfway through it and I was like, nah, this is really good.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
Go check it out. You probably will love it. I did. We'll see you fucking next time, guys.
There's a lot of different things. It goes country, it goes folk rock, it goes kind of punk rock a little bit there. So it has a lot of variations, but they're all solid. They're all really solid songs, I think.
No, I thought it was really good. I'm going to explore a little more. I took your recommendation seriously and listened to it like 3-4 times at first, and then, but.
All right. So take care, V. Good talking to you. Maybe time we get a visual on